Sundown.
Sundown. Sundown. Yep.
I can control it from here, like it's actually going through the channel.
This what we was talking about. This song. He wrote this about a girl. I guess his girlfriend.
Yeah.
She was running around. She was like kind of like a drug dealer for a bunch of like. She was kind of like a groupie.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she would like go around and sell drugs at these parties, or she would kind of bring drugs. Well, she took drugs to, I think it was John Belushi. He died. That was the night he OD'd, and she was there. And
it was her.
It was her. And so he made this song like, "You better beware, find you," because he was creeping around with his old lady.
Yeah.
And he died, you know. But anyway, I don't know. It was like that was made after he died.
Well, hopefully it doesn't get taken down because we're playing it. Pull that mic up there just a little bit to yourself.
Okay. I'm going to finish this meat stick. I'm going to ask you a question. I was thinking when I was getting my belly started rolling.
Yeah.
You know, I ate a bunch of country ham.
Yeah.
So give me 1 second. Let me finish this.
No, you're fine, man. That country ham will put it on you.
It's all the salt.
You think that's what it is?
Got to be. You remember like the old tale, like drink Epsom salt and you'll use the bathroom, you know?
And you'll poop yourself.
Natural extracts, like a lot of sodium. All right, get over that ASMR right there. So good. I started clicking my nails.
Undelectable. You want a cup of Joe?
Yes, please.
I sweetened it and put a little bit of milk in there.
That's fine with me. So I was thinking on the way over here, I was in my truck and it started to hit me and I was like, man, that country ham, but it's so good.
Where'd you get it?
Well, I bought it at the IGA at the Porters.
Yeah.
And I'm always
like it's their deli?
Yeah, they've got the hams hanging there, you know, the big country hams. You'll see them wrapped in big old.
Oh, yeah, dude. I seen that like 2 days ago.
Yep.
I went in there and got some fries and stuff for Willow's birthday party.
Yeah.
And I looked right at that country ham and I was like, that's one of the first one of them I've seen
yeah.
in a long time.
You don't catch them much. They're kind of old.
What happened with that?
Well, I feel like old people passed away. That's kind of what I was going to ask you. So, like, if you had to pick an area for a meal, the South and Kentucky, in my opinion, like a breakfast hub. Like, you want a good breakfast. Like, I just, like, I don't know anywhere else in the world more notorious for, like, a good, like, you could get there at 7 o'clock in the morning and you'll get fed area. Yeah. Especially than southeastern Kentucky.
At least 5,000 calories.
Yeah.
At least.
Like, you're going to get a big chunk in your belly. You're going to be able to work all day.
Yeah.
On what you got.
You'll be miserable, like, the first 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You'll feel like you're going to pop.
Yes.
But then,
I'm strutting.
You'll come down. It's like you come down from it, and then you can just make it all the way to the evening before you need to eat again.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was going to ask you is if you had to pick, because I can pick a lot of better places to like eat a good luncheon or dinner than like my mammy's house. Not saying my mammy's dinners aren't like legit, because they are. They're wonderful. And actually her pot roast, and then like I'm trying to think what else, just like her rolls are, they're hard to beat. Man, my mammy's rolls.
And she make them.
Oh, yeah, they rise on the vent. Like, she's got them in a pan. She's preparing these rolls like 7 to 18 days prior to the meal. Like, it's that prepared, and she's, oh my gosh.
Ages it?
Oh, yeah, they're huge. They're yeast rolls, and they're that big. And she always makes it way more than anyone can eat. Like, you always, if you're at her house and eating.
Yes, all old women. Something about that. And you would think that they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, because
they grew up like in the Depression.
Where they were like, there was no food. And you would think like.
They don't do that. My Mama Patton. Yeah, but Mama Patton, every day, those look at any dog she has or has ever had. Outside dog. Eats a gallon of scraps every day.
Every single day.
Every
Ice
day.
cream bucket on the back porch.
Yeah, and I'm like, and if you go up there and eat and try to like scrape off the chicken, she'll be like, running across the yes.
Maybe that's that depression kicking in. That pre-depression.
Like the dogs, Mamaw, the dogs have severe obesity and diabetes. Yeah. Like they're in bad shape.
Oh, my mama's dog was like a 50-gallon drum with toothpicks.
Like you're not doing this dog any favors. No. You're cutting years
his life way down. Sambo, I'm pretty sure he was like a triple amputee diabetic. I mean, he was in bad shape. Sambo was his name.
What kind of dog was he?
He was the only dog I've ever seen in this area. He was a bulldog and Dalmatian mix. And the story with the dog was, because he was there before I was born, he actually did live to be very old somehow. Yeah, eating all of what he did. But he would eat green beans and stuff real randomly. I thought I'd throw that in there. Like, he was a vegetable dog as well.
He didn't.
He was not culling food. If it had been in a pan, he was eating it.
Anywhere close to
my mama's cast iron skillets carried such a seasoning that, like, they could make the flies that landed in them afterwards, like, good to eat. You'd be like, You know, like, but anyway, he was in the back of somebody's truck, a farmer from over in Jackson County. They passed my mama and pap's place, and he just bails out of the truck.
Yeah.
Like, lands right in the yard, will not get back in that truck, and just, like, stays there.
For the rest of the time. Was he a pup when he done that?
No, he was like, I'm pretty sure he was like a grown dog. Yeah. But he wasn't very, very old. I think he was still young. But they couldn't catch him to get him back in. And my pap's like, come back through here in a day or two, and, maybe I can get him hemmed up by then, and you can pick him up. And they never came back, and they just kept him. And he was, for like a bulldog, because old people, like anti-pit bull, like that's like a bit. Well, I think they all had like some kind of an old like mixed up cur pit, bulldog, like some kind of little farm dog that just kind of hung around, and that's kind of what he was. But he was speckled, white and white body, black speckles all over him. Looked like a Dalmatian, just kind of stockier build. I'll find a picture of him before we get off of here and show you, because he was actually in like some kind of Kentucky newspaper.
The dog was?
Why? He was like really just the look of him, I guess, was like really pretty.
Yeah.
And someone was doing the like farm photography, like going around to like these old
country.
Those
green beans.
Well, the green beans was bringing that sheen out.
Slick coat, it was
like, someone's been letting this dog lick the grease pan. Because his coat was just always like so sheen and pretty. But
do you have any old cast iron?
Oh, yeah, a ton of old.
Mammy?
Yeah, I got some old Griswolds, several Wagners.
She tried to give me some the other day. And it's not that I didn't want them. I don't know if I couldn't carry them home or what. But I've got like a Lodge 9-inch that I've used for so long. Mm-hmm. I've got the seasoning built up on it real good.
And it just won't stick.
Yeah, I don't really need another one. For cornbread and stuff, man.
Oh, best thing ever.
Oh, yeah. Butter that thing and just dump that corn mix in there.
And it ain't that crazy, though.
And you get done, you can just go blah-blah and dump that baby right out on the counter.
That's something I was actually thinking about the other day was like the pan, like all this new cookware. With the Dump Cook coming out, the new Dump Cook series is out, and if they haven't checked it out, check Kathy Mitchell.
Kathy, is there a song? Wait, is there a song?
There is a song about Kathy Mitchell. I wrote one, not like actually wrote it, but I hummed the tune.
Yeah,
the Dump Cook Queen.
Is that what you were singing that day in the tree stand?
I was just hemming it up there in the tree stand. You're like,
so you were crafting it.
The Dump Cook Queen. I was just humming
I thought it was real, like it was at the beginning of the videos or something.
So my interest was piqued. I was at a Hammers, where those stores are Hammers.
Oh, yeah.
My wife loves them. I think every woman on earth loves a store where you can't find anything that you're looking for, but there's everything you're not looking for.
It's like everything you almost want at a good deal, and you're like, man, if I could just find the one thing that I actually do want here, it's going to be cheap.
But I need this in another color.
But you never find it.
No, never. And I call them a migraine store because I go in and I see this mass. There are hoarding stores, and Hammers is a hoarding store. Like, it's when you just, like, you're having to side profile to get through every aisle.
Yeah, it looks like a crazy person has been there.
And it shocks me to think that we live in a world where in another country people run naked. I'm like, empty one Hammers out, and you'll clothe the entire nation.
You'll clothe all of poor China.
Like China, everyone's going to have clothes. Everyone's going to be running around like an
clothes
off
might be
color.
Too small.
Yeah,
but they'll
put them on.
They'll be belly shirts for the big tall African dudes.
Yeah. But. So anyway, I'm in a Hammers. Oddly enough, I had that picture was from that Hammers. I was coming off of an antibiotic. I had been on antibiotics for like 48 days or something. It was.
Why would you want an antibiotic?
I know. I was like, dang, these antibiotics are killing me. But we went on vacation. The day I get to South Carolina.
Oh, this is there?
This is when I found Kathy Mitchell. This is Snowball. We Snowball talk way too much.
Antibiotics will mess you up.
I almost died.
Yeah.
So, like, we fast forward from Kathy Mitchell, me finding Kathy Mitchell, I almost found the Lord.
Wait, I need to hear this first. Like, so you find Kathy Mitchell, the dump cook queen.
Yeah.
On a book at Hammers.
Well, no, not on a book. I'm standing to this massive pallet of these boxes of pots and pans. Oh. Getting back to, like, thinking about the skillet thing, like, they didn't have nonstick. So, like, they were out there, these old ladies were out there, like, coming together, like, we got to find something that we can cook in that our eggs don't stick to the bottom of. And someone came up with cast iron. And so you go back, like, all these years, and there's a little bit of work to them, obviously, with cast iron. But, man, what a pan. They're just
like
so
the weight.
great.
The weight is probably one of the biggest things because you can just, like, if you got an egg, you can just...
And scrub, if it does.
Get right under that bad boy.
And the pan don't go... slide everywhere.
Dude, a non-stick pan that's real thin, that bubbles out, gets bulbous on the bottom. Mm-hmm. I've never come quite so close to killing myself in my life as to fooling with one of those stupid pans. Because, dude, like, you got an egg in there and the handle's facing this way, and the whole pan is resting on, like, 1/8 of material.
Yeah.
And you touch the pan and it's, like, spinning.
Yeah, they spin.
I got so mad one time I had eggs in there that stuck on me and the pan was trash. I took the eggs and dumped them in the trash, took the pan and smacked it on my knee and gonged it inward instead of like an Audi. I gonged it the other way. And then when I started cooking eggs, all the eggs would run to the outside edge. Nothing would sit in the middle at all.
Well, that takes me back to when we were talking about the pan. You know, I go back to that Kathy Mitchell deal. I listened to the Kathy Mitchell podcast, which was awesome. The Dump Cook Queen. I hope we don't get in trouble for some kind of copyright infringement or
using
something.
I'm like,
but I mean, you know, make your name anything else. It's pretty simple. I wouldn't go walking around with, you know, something like that tethered to me would just be, it's, you know, you're asking for it. But anyway, I'm at the Hammers. I'm standing, I'm waiting to get into that commode. And
the Hammers commode?
Yeah, which, ooh,
yeah, that's bad.
That's a hoarding in its own self.
That's cheap. That's cheap Indian gas station bathroom level.
Yes, it was horrid, Dylan. But I stood there and waited, and while I was waiting, I turned my head, and behold, the pallet I leant on was Kathy Mitchell's Dump Cook Queen pan set. Pots and pans. And I thought she was a crock pot lady myself. You know, that's what she advertises. Yeah. But why do you have pots and pans?
If you're a dump cook queen.
You don't use a pot and pan set because you're doing under 5-minute meals, which means you can't cook the whole meal in pots and pans.
Why do you have a pan set? If you're the dump cook queen. Well, she's obviously stepping out a little bit.
She's getting out of her comfort zone. I think she's trying to shed that old name, but as you, the self-proclaimed dump cook queen, may know, that name hangeth. And that hangeth hard.
And it hangeth long and hard.
It's not coming off of her.
That's not coming off.
So,
she's stuck. Like chances are it's going to be on the headstone. Yeah. Unfortunately, people are going to walk up to the grave and be
dump cook queen.
The dump cook. They're going to stroke the top of the gravestone.
Like, Lord, I've had many a good crock pot meal because of you,
good
Kathy.
Meals because of you, Kathy.
Which I'm sure she's got some. From the cover of the book, it looked delicious.
Well, she looks like a lady that could can some like really good chow or make you like a good dump meal.
Like a good dump. And I don't know exactly. I still haven't figured out what that consists of.
A dump meal?
Yeah, I should look it up. As much as I've talked about it, I honestly probably should.
Is there like a YouTube videos of Kathy Mitchell?
Don't do that. That's what I done. That's why I started singing, you know, because it's not good what's on YouTube about Kathy.
No, they're not.
We should probably disclose before people.
I need to leave my image.
Yeah, don't taint it because people ran with that. Yeah. We're doing the same thing now. I'm not going to the level they went. Because,
so you're saying that?
Yeah, they went. They took it too far.
Yeah,
I respect Kathy. She's got some hustle, and she went with something
Yeah, dude, I wish that was my mammal.
Yeah.
I wish Kathy Mitchell was my third mammal.
Exactly. She took a name that I wouldn't be willing to take to get to that point of fame.
Yeah.
You could be like, James, you got to take.
It's like having the last name of Butt or something. Yes. One of the worst things that could ever happen to you. And she owned it. She owned it, huh?
Bump ass, not like the bad word AWS says. A bump ass is that's a real last name.
Yeah,
it's a pretty common last name.
Yeah, or the first name of Dick.
Yeah,
Yeah, but she took Dump Cook Queen and she rose to the top.
She was willing to be like, I don't care what the others say. Yeah. Which, in my opinion,
there's a lot you can learn from that.
Yeah, there is. You could really take a whole lot. As much as I've scrutinized, I stand here and looking back, and I'm like, Kathy taught me some lessons. I've had a life lesson right now in this room. I just had like a...
You know, I was thinking about that because everybody's got their own life and there's stuff that they can do or that they want to do, things, whatever. And I honestly, like this, not joking, like I was thinking about Kathy Mitchell, the Dump Cook Queen, and I was like, she's just living.
Yeah.
She's at like the last quarter of her life.
Yeah, she's older, for sure.
The acclaimed Dump Cook Queen.
I would die with a title.
She has something. A lot of people get to that. They have nothing at all.
Yeah. Die not
and I was like, that Kathy Mitchell made me want to go in harder on this podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, if she can be the Dump Cook Queen, like she's living, like I'm going to do the podcast and I'm going to go into it harder.
Yeah.
In honor of Kathy Mitchell, the Dump Cook Queen.
Well, then we'll honor her by saying thanks, Kathy. She gave a mighty fine amount of content.
Yeah.
We sat in that tree stand and I died laughing. Hard belly laugh.
Yeah.
No chance we were seeing anything. We were lucky to see those coyotes.
Well, the only reason we did because it was the most retarded coyote that ever lived.
It was deaf.
What was wrong with that thing?
I have no idea.
His belly was this far from the ground.
He was mixed with a Shetland pony and a Great Dane. That was a huge coyote.
Yeah, he looked
Probably
obese.
One of the bigger ones I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, like for sure looked obese.
Yeah. Like he was so fat I thought he had a bobtail.
Yeah, his tail looked like it was this long. It looked like it was that long.
Yeah.
And a coyote's tail, big old long.
Big long, bushy tail. But I was like, dude, that's like a chunk of a dog coming up that road.
I did not think it was a coyote.
And I have not had one back on the camera on that road. Mm-hmm. But I've had multiple bobcats. And then I had an actual dog there.
Yeah.
Someone's squirrel dog was back there.
An actual dog looked a lot like a coyote. It was really fat.
Just real hugely obese dog. But yeah, I mean, we were just cracking up, just a good laugh. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it.
I like that snap.
Let's see. Yeah, like that.
It's
like a little. It's that skin. You're crunching through that skin, that gut sack. Well, now back on to wherever we were. Like I said, we're terrible snowballers, but I think that's a lot of what podcasts are.
That's what a good podcast is.
It's just like it leading. It naturally rolls and gathers more information.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be super real, or they're not fun to listen to.
Yeah, well, I could believe that for sure.
Like if I turn one on and it's real rigid, and the dude's like, on today's show we've got blah 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 blah, and you can tell the interviewer has like a list of talking points that they're trying to hit.
Oh yeah,
which is fine. Like if you got some reminders,
it's not bad to have an agenda, to kind of step back to, but don't make it like so.
You can tell like it's super structured and rigid and not fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, these meat sticks are good, man.
They are delicious. And who done those?
The Mennonites.
In Manchester.
The Manchesterians.
I'll take us to a story, okay? H&M. That's on Bowling Branch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I had a job to do. I was working for a sign company. Should I push this out a little bit?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I just didn't want to be going on this meat stick with Mike.
Well, I probably could go ahead and do this. What is it called? Chomo pickle. Am I right? A chomo pickle. ASMR. My wife is like hung on these food challenge things, like spicy food challenges.
She loves people like food. Eat right in the mics and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. Like those can send me into some type of like a panic. Yeah. I can't watch the ones where they're really intensely. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're burning.
They're trying to make a lot of sound.
Yeah. And some people love it. I was born in a household where slurping was against the
law.
It
would get you punished.
Yes.
Severely.
You never clicked them teeth on a spoon or fork.
Mm-mm.
And you never slurped. But my dad, it sounds like you're feeding a Mack truck. He will scoop and scrape, and which we didn't eat with him a lot.
Breathing.
Yeah, he's like, just like, but now my dad makes a soup out of everything. But the chomo pickle, or chomo, I think, it's chomo. So my wife saw this YouTube video where this girl was eating a spicy pickle, and then this guy was doing it, and then, a bunch of people, just like a bunch of people's been doing this YouTube thing. I guess TikTok as well, but I don't have it. But eating the chomo pickle, and it's a spicy, sweet.
The chomo pickle.
The chomo, and it's a Mexican pickle, and it's red. It's like seasoned and spicy, sweet. It looks horrid, and it is horrid. But she wanted one. She's pregnant, so she's got these cravings.
She said, give me a chomo.
I had to go.
These people are making it look so good. I got to have one.
Yeah, so I go to our local Mexican cuisine restaurant, and I go inside, and I've been told prior by someone who spoke English there that there were chomo pickles.
In that facility?
Yeah. Well, I go in, and it's a small restaurant. it's not a huge...
Which one is it?
It's beside the Pizza Hut in the plaza where the JCPenney's used to be. Not a Pizza Hut, it's a Domino's. Is it Domino's? Yeah, it's Domino's in that plaza. You know what I'm talking about?
Is there a Mexican restaurant?
Fast Lane Tobacco. It's not a Mexican restaurant. My bad on that. It's a Mexican grocery store.
What?
Yes, and we have is it Oriental? Is that what that is?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we got a Mexican food market.
Dude.
Fish and all. Pretty neat. So I go in there and I'm like, you got chomo pickles. Woman behind the counter does not speak English at all. Like, no, she can say hi, but that's all she could say. Not, it's a Mexican.
You come up and go, chomo pickle.
Well, yeah, like you got me a big old country cornbread, like, do you have a chomo pickle? And she's like, chomo?
Chomo.
And she's like, yeah, like, follow me.
See?
And, she takes me straight to chomo. The sauce, but not the pickle. And so, I'm over here, I'm hunting. She goes back to the counter. I was like, okay, thank you. I'm going to look around because I needed to get Takis because you got to stuff them with Takis and then eat the pickle with the Takis stuffed in it.
So you're like injecting Takis into the chomo?
Yeah, they do it's crazy, dude. And they squirt juice on them and everything. It's like really weird. But anyway, I go to this place, and I find the pickle on the like my last run around. I see two of them, a mango and a regular chomo.
Chomo pickles.
Yeah,
are they like in like a bag?
They're in a bag, a self-contained bag.
Like a hot mama.
And they're a cucumber. They're not a pickle. This thing's huge.
Yeah,
it's as big as that thermos.
Dang.
So I get it, check it out. They're a lot. These were expensive. I think the one was like $9, one was like $5 for these pickles. Lord. Yeah, but I got them. When I get to the car, she's already trying to get them out of the bag, eat them. Wait.
Out in the driveway?
Yes. So we get the chomo pickle, and she ate it, and she puked afterwards. But, it was good at first. So anyway, back to the H&M thing. The butcher shop. I was doing a job for a company I was working for. It was a sign company, and I can't remember exactly what I was doing in Manchester. Like what kind of a job, but I was going to go to that butcher shop to buy jerky because they have really good beef jerky. Man. So I go up through there, I buy the jerky, I'm happy, I'm chewing on some jerky, I'm in a big 5,500 bucket truck, and I'm coming up the road, and here comes this dude pulling a trailer. And so I'm like, all right.
That road's tiny too.
And it's like, it's so narrow.
Yeah.
And I'm in a huge bucket truck.
Yeah.
And this guy ain't letting up a bit. He just like flying up that road. And I'm like, all right, I'll give you a little bit. And I get over some, and I get over a little more. And he comes up, he hits the front fender flare of the bucket truck, and he's about to catch that bed and that rigger.
Yeah.
That big arm that comes out to stabilize the truck. So I swerved over a little more, and dude, pavement on that one inside part of the road breaks off, and the truck just goes boom. And you know how big it is. It didn't have far to go, thankfully, but she just chops the side of the blacktop off.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're talking about.
Oh, and so I'm on
that road around through there. That ditch is steep. It's real deep.
Oh,
and like eroding bad.
And it broke the pavement off, and there I am stuck. And I got a call. Well, thankfully, an Elliott truck comes up through there, and I'm like, thank goodness. But, he's not like, thank goodness. He's like, I can't get around you. I was like, well, pull me out and then, we'll get down here. But it took the tire off the rim. So the one back tire was shot. But I still had an inside good rim.
Yeah.
Or good tire. But they pull me out. We get down there and I get it all fixed up and stuff.
And you didn't want to tell work.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to call work. And it was only I think it was like $90 for a rim. And I had one of our employees bring one in Corbin. They drove it down to Manchester. It knocked a little bit of time out of the day, but it was nothing huge. I was able to end up going to do the job. But the last time I was at H&M was that day. I haven't been back since.
It's pretty good, but I will say I've also had some snack sticks, as they call them, from Showalters in Casey County.
Is it delicious?
Oh, my gosh, dude.
Great.
Man. They have like Cajun, jalapeno, and a couple others. I've only tried the Cajun and like the barbecue one. The Cajun one is so spicy and good. Like it's perfect.
Really?
Yeah, next time I will not go back to those guys, which those are good, but they're nowhere near as good as the others.
In Casey County?
Yeah, like over through Russell.
Russell Springs? No.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, Russell County's like right there, and then Casey's like either kind of above or below it. But that's where that other one's at, and everybody talks about how good it is.
And it was delish.
Dude, I ate a whole pack of those, a bigger pack than that there on the table in probably, I don't know, a day, I think. I couldn't stop eating them. Like, I would eat one and be like, all right, I'm done. That's it. And then a few minutes later, I'd be back in there going, sucking those things down.
Have you noticed, like, afterwards you do that, how much belly pain, not that you get a bunch of belly pain, but the way your stool will become, like it will become whatever you're eating, like if you eat a massive amount of that. It's like you always get some type of major effect from it. You could do that with anything, I'm sure, but, just like a lot of one thing.
Yeah.
Now, when you were at H&M, because the last time I was there, they had like a 4-year-old girl toting cheese blocks around. Because, they are like Mennonite. Are they Mennonite or Amish?
I think they're Mennonites.
Okay, well, they do work the children early. I'm not knocking it.
Oh, they work them very early.
Because them kids could talk to a 50-year-old man and be like, yes, we have the shopping times for the leaf blowers. And, they know their stuff. Yeah. But there was about a 4-year-old girl, like, toting around probably about a 35-pound block of Swiss.
Yeah.
She just toting it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if she knew where she was going.
But she was going.
Yeah, she had it, was walking right through there. I don't know if you've noticed that, like, when you went, like, you've seen some, like, little boys outside, like, picking a tractor up or anything.
I was going to tell you that I went to the one that's over here off of, is it Johnson Road, out past the middle school?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that one. That's that dude's brother. That's H&M's brother.
Well, they've got 2 places, yeah.
Yeah, they're brothers. And me and Willow went out there to drop off her deer or pick it up that one. And I can't remember if it was dropping off or picking up. But she goes, after we get in the truck, I seen him, but I didn't really think much of it. I just hopped in the truck, and she was like, what's that little boy doing? And this little dude is decked out in Amish gear.
Yeah.
Shoes, pants, shirt. He's got the Amish hat. All of it. All of it. And he's holding a lunchbox. Like he came there to work.
Man, he toted his food with him. He's like,
he's holding his lunch. Yeah, exactly. And this kid had to have weighed like 50 to 60 pounds. He looked like a 5 or 6 year old kid. Maybe 7, I don't know. And Will was like, what's he doing here? And I was like, he's going to work. I was like, that dude came to work. She was like, what? She couldn't even understand.
That he would be doing something.
That little kid was about to be working in there. It blew her mind. And I was like, yep, it's about time for you to start too. Start pulling you weight around here.
You came in and she's like over you in the next morning, like with a little knife. She's like, listen, we got some things I got to talk to you about.
And a couple of things going to change around here.
A few things going to change. I've been watching my YouTube. Well, yeah, they work hardcore. And I've noticed more recently a large group have moved out past me, but they're Amish. They're not Mennonite at all. They're straight Amish. They're rolling around in buggies. And oddly enough, I'm working nights in Booneville over at a sawmill over there for a whiskey barrel factory. Mm-hmm. And so we have to go in after they close down. Yeah. And we're doing some power upgrades. And I'll come through there and I normally go in about like 9 o'clock. They're traveling heavy at night. Horse buggy. You'll see the two little. I know it's them.
Suspicious.
I have some. I've got some things.
You think some things are going on? There's some ongoings.
There is something.
There's some neck-bearded ongoings.
Yeah.
Like when they show up at the crime scene, the investigator's like, neck beard.
Pulls a huge neck beard hair up, and he's just like, he's old. It's like they're cutting it, looking at the growth rings, like he's never shaved. His jugular's never been touched with a razor. And like he's definitely old. But yeah, I just think it's odd. What are you doing out that late at night,
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I know they have to have youngsters.
Yeah.
And they're out there
town,
they're out there
up.
listen, my wagon, I got my wagon shined up.
Yeah.
I wonder what they got headlights on them and flashers on the back. Yes.
Dang. Well, see, I wonder what is their version of the Walmart parking lot at 11 or 12.
Yeah, where are they meeting up at?
Where's the youngsters?
Big barn parking lot, like.
Yeah. And they're sitting around talking about their favorite scripture, I guess.
Yeah. I would guess it to be like what, like, I'm thinking like, what would you get pumped about as an Amish kid?
Have you ever tried to talk to any of them?
I've worked with several.
I don't talk to them.
I don't get talk. They won't talk. The Amish won't talk to me.
Really?
Mennonites talk your head off. Yeah. They'll talk to you forever.
Well, I've talked to a lot of Mennonites, and they will talk, but they're so flat.
Yeah.
Like how I'm talking right now, my voice is going up and it's going down. Like I'm,
it's very monotone.
They're just,
Yeah.
I come in the other day.
No life in them.
And the Manchester one, and this dude was like, so you've got a buck? And I was like, yeah. I was like, actually, it's my daughter's buck. That's where we took her deer, not the one in London. And he was just standing there looking at me. And I was like, yeah. And I get my phone out, and I'm like, she's only 5. And I'm like, look, she got this buck. And the dude just goes, looks down at the phone, and looks back at me, and then just says nothing at all.
So dry.
And the whole time that they talk, they only talk in one tone range. They never go up or down, And it's like almost talking to a robot or something.
It's kind of strange.
I'm like, you guys can,
cut it up.
You can handle fun.
Chop it up, bub. Yeah, I do wonder, like, if when they go home, they're over like, now we can finally laugh.
What do you think one sounds like when he laughs?
Like, no. The ones I was around a guy named Chris, and then one was named Chris, and dang, what's the other one's name?
Jebediah.
It might have been Jebediah or something. I'm not sure. I worked with him at a house. Yeah, Mose. I was working at a house out in Corbin, and it was frigidly cold. I had actually, this is back, I guess probably 2022.
Yeah.
21 maybe. The winter of 22. And I was deathly ill. I had just come off of like this odd fever.
Yeah.
I'd had for like 2 weeks, but I wasn't like sick. I was just like crazy hard fever.
Yeah.
And I started working with these Mennonite fellas. I was wiring a house that they were working in. Really, they were really like on time, very punctual.
Yeah.
But they left real early. They would get there early.
Were they just working like a short day?
No, I think it was 8 hours. But I've got so used to this, like when we show up, we might not get to a job until maybe like 9 o'clock sometimes because you got a lot of running to do.
Yeah.
Could be as late as 10. But like we may not leave till like 3 o'clock 3 days later.
Yeah. You're getting after
like it's been horrid recently.
Making that money.
My life during the work, like actually working, like I know when I'm going into work, I'm like, my wife's kissing my neck off because she may not see me for like 2 more days.
It's going to be bad. Like you're going in to get it done.
Yeah. Like I'll be like, it's one of those weeks. And she's like, not again.
No.
She's like in the corner and she's like, listen, you can't do this to me anymore.
Keep doing it.
Brooklyn is like hardcore at. She's like, we gotta figure something else out. Which it's been one of them deals where we got to catch the weather right. Where I do work outside a lot. If we know rain's coming, we got something. We just has to get done. But anyway, back to these Mennonite guys. We're working with them, And I talked to them forever about it, like about their life, like what they earth tone clothes.
That's what I've always wanted to do, is to pry on them.
Like I pried on them. Like I was just like, well, tell me what's different. Like, why couldn't you live like me? And he's like, okay, well,
you all cut a hole in the sheet?
Yeah, like tell me about it. Like what's going on? I need to know. And he tells me about it. He's like, he said he grew up in Maryland. Mm-hmm. He grew up in Maryland. And the way that those, all that intertwines, like, they have connections from all up and down this East Coast, is what he was telling me. Like, as far as his family did. Like, so he went to school in Maryland. He worked in West Virginia, I want to say, for a little while.
Okay, yeah, because when I talked to that one, he was saying something about his family in Pennsylvania.
Yes, Pennsylvania.
PA is huge for those dudes,
Pennsylvanian Dutch.
Dang.
So he spoke like Pennsylvanian Dutch. And
did you hear any of it?
He did it sometimes, and they would sing in it. And they had very, very
Was that creepy?
Well, yeah, once I figured out it was them singing, but it was beautiful. Like, it really was. It sounded so good. I was like, is that him? And it was like an Irish tune. Is what it was. It was like, and I was like, so their voices do go more than just like monotone.
Only when they're singing.
Only when they're singing. That when they're talking, he's like, oh yeah, well, me and my wife were down here the other day, and we went to the hardware store. I looked for a Milwaukee stand light, but they just had the one with the head on it that just was singular head. And I was like, yeah, well, I mean, just go right down. You can go to the next store down the road. And he's like, oh, could you show me on a map where to get to that one at? And I was like, yeah. You have a map? And he's like, oh, yeah, I got a big one right here in the vine. And so that gets the map out, and sure enough, he's got a big, like, New Age map. And that's what he does. They use that map.
That's wild. Is it an atlas? Is that what they call those?
It's, I guess, a huge world atlas, but it's got all those roads. And it actually, this one, I guess, gets printed every 2 years.
Yeah.
For a new, like, I guess, the one that, now, I don't think this was a world atlas, like, I think it was printed by the Mennonite community. Like, they may get a certain type for their people,
Yeah.
But he lived in Manchester.
Dang.
Had a bunch of elk in his yard every day. He was always telling me about these elk, and I never could, like, buy it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, does he know, like, what a lot of elk is?
I want to see one stub his toe at 3 a.m.
and see what happens.
And not like your run-of-the-mill
stub toe.
The hop a couple, like you hop a couple times.
You're talking about, like,
you're going to be okay. Yeah.
You want to see him break some toe bone.
The nail's going to fall off in a couple weeks. That's what I want.
Gosh, a big drag toe.
Yeah, I want it to be bad, and I want to see how he reacts. Because it has happened.
Oh yeah,
like obviously
they lost their temper
toe.
a time. I seen him lose his temper one time with pebbles on top of concrete. They put a door in, and they couldn't. They were having to roll these pebbles out of the concrete.
Yeah.
And they're perfect. Well, this guy was a perfectionist. I've met some that aren't as perfectionist as you would think.
Yeah.
Like they have some sloppy work. Some of them does, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them do, just like anybody else. There's good and bad Mennonites. But so they were trying to get this door jam or this door in where the two posts come down on either, I guess, a threshold maybe.
Yeah.
And the base plate of that door, it wouldn't go down because those stones were uneven. And I could hear him going like, no, I can't remember the other boy's name, but he was saying his name. He was like, no, I'm telling you, no. Because he's like, well, take a grinder and grind the tops of them off. And he's like, no, I told you I'm not going to do that. Like, he was so impotent about leaving these and I was like, I think the owner's knocking those down.
Yeah.
When this is all done, I think he's going to build a big patio here.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking about, Like, he wouldn't talk to me about the situation.
Right after he just chewed out, Jed.
But yeah, like his version of chewing out was like, I said no. Like, and then I knew the other boy was just like, he just got real quiet. He was like,
yeah.
But
some of them go rogue too.
Well, I think the one that worked with him went rogue prior. He had a black Honda Civic. But before,
yeah.
Because I asked him, I was like, what kind of car, do you drive? And he's like, I got a black Honda Civic, but before I had a white Tacoma. And that didn't roll.
That's too much. They said it was too
worldly. That's what he said. Too worldly, and that he had to get a black plain Jane car.
Well, what's funny to me is like they've got no point of reference of like what they can and can't drive. It's just kind of all like up to them themselves. So like you see some of them driving like a super nice F-250 black, solid black, and it's brand new, like a 2023
Look at the
or
radio.
22. Yeah, and they'll screw plywood over it. I've seen them do it.
The radio in that car was I looked in it and I didn't say, because obviously I knew what it was about. Yeah, gone. And I would think that they probably leave them in, some of them.
Yeah.
But they may disable them somehow. But no, they were like, they didn't trust this boy enough. They was like, it's got to be gone. But what he was telling me about this connection, like they shipped him down here to live with another Mennonite family. Like he came down here to work.
Yeah.
And like, but all they done was just like make a phone call and be like, okay, do you need him? Where could he be used at in this area?
Yeah.
And so he just, bam, he's here. Like,
it's so wild.
They can go anywhere.
Have you noticed a bunch of them are adopting kids?
No.
Sorry, I got junk in my throat. So when I took one of my deer to the one here in London, this dude was like a Chinese guy. He was a Chinese Mennonite.
Really?
Yeah, and he was pretty talkative, and like he had quite a bit of,
hand movements and stuff.
Yeah, like he was real.
Yeah, their bodies are rigid.
He was not like he was not real stiff like the rest of them. And he made a joke, and then I made a joke, and he was laughing. We were laughing back and forth. He was like the most normal one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then the one in Manchester, there was a little black boy dressed up like a Mennonite running around working.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's black. He may have been Mexican or something, but he was definitely like not of one of them. Yeah. So it makes me think that they're like adopting people.
Well,
which is wild.
If they can give them a good home life, Yeah. And I think that's what happens a lot of the time, because I do see like the Mennonite thing has been, it's a cult,
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Amish is a cult. I'm 100% like Amish is definitely a cult.
Yeah.
And the Mennonite, that's a cult too. It's just, is it super extreme cult?
Yeah.
And it's pretty extreme.
Yeah, it's like the definition of a cult.
Yeah, well, they're
literally like, what it
it's
is.
a legal cult is what it is. Like it's to the point to where there's enough of them, and I guess they supply some benefit to the government's just like, we'll overlook this cult.
Yeah, it's like a legal,
a little more accepted
moral cult.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of crap that goes on. Give me a little bit more of that too.
You need another shooter?
Let me get you some of that. Now I'm going to take you back in your mind. Oh no, I took the last little bit.
That's fine.
What if you're like really mad?
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Well, guys, that's all we got time for today.
You thought you killed the making, like I told you.
Thanks for tuning in.
You got one cup and one meat stick, and that is it. And I was like, I'm sorry, Dylan. I told you I'm going to work on it next time.
I'm really hungry.
No, I've been thinking a lot about it here recently too. Is the river, and doing some river fishing for this spring. Like I'm so pumped for that.
I have not river fished properly in way too long.
What is it required to do a proper river fish for you? I heard this saying this week. What self-truth?
Self-truth, like what I think a proper my self-truth of river fishing. Yeah. I would say,
like something no one could swap your mind on.
Like I'm not moving off.
Like
of
this is my deal.
I would say some good river fishing to me would be at least like an all day, 5 to 6 hours.
Like the day has been dedicated to this thing, right?
Yeah. Like everybody knows this is where we're at, what we're doing. Yeah. That, but preferably going in, fishing the evening, camping out or something.
Oh,
fishing
tearing that
early
whole morning up.
Early morning, because that's where it's at anyways.
Yeah, that early morning bite.
Yes.
But it's one of those things that you couldn't get there early enough to make it. Like you would have to be on the river 5 o'clock in the morning. Like getting in the boat and getting to right where. So that's the problem you run into is those honey holes aren't within a walk. Like you've got to be on that water to get to the good spots. And it's normally.
It's always that way.
Always. You're not going to walk to those really, like the ball alley hole. You don't walk to the ball alley hole. Like no one's walking to that hole of water.
No, you
You'll
can't.
float.
Yeah.
And you'll float down. But we all know what it's like to go up.
I think what we need to do is we need to get a cordless hammer drill. Mm-hmm. We need to go down there and drill some eye bolts in them rocks, string up a hammock, and just camp. And then that way, whenever the sun does start coming up, you can just bloop down next to you.
Listen, that is what I've been thinking about that ball alley hole. Oof. Because I know what lurks there. I've seen it. I've been young. I was young when they used to take me. And I look back on it and I'm thinking now, because I don't even see, I can remember going down there and there being other old men back up there like at the ball alley hole.
Yeah, that you didn't know.
Yeah.
That you you had to watch like when you went and peed. I was afraid that they would be like,
well, he looked at my pee.
Larkin. Yeah.
He see my pee.
Bad ball. That dude see me.
Them bad balls, he's going to shoot him with a single shot 22.
That's the best place in the world to kill somebody. You just blast on.
I've heard for years, multiple bodies in there. I chonked on a shin bone one day. The long bone, what everyone calls a long bone in a human, the femur.
Yeah. Dead
giveaway. Like you find a femur bone, you're like, there's nothing else on earth this can come from.
Yeah.
Or a shine bone, which people, shin bone.
Yeah.
It was a femur, but they found it washed up in the shoal. I think it was my cousin Jacob and my Uncle Ben. They brought it back and they're like, this is just odd looking.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, the evening goes and I'm sitting by the fire and I'm like 7 or 8 and I got a K-bar. Of course, they let a 7-year-old run around with a K-bar. Yeah. But these are the 90s, or the early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, a 7-year-old was an 18-year-old.
Yeah, like you were, dude, I could fix a carburetor.
Yeah.
I was putting stators on lawnmowers.
You knew the difference between a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke.
Yeah, I was all over that. Yeah. Like I had my stuff together.
Basically, you could pick out the socket without it, like the first try. Yeah. You could be under the car and go and grab the 11 or 13 and come back and it fits right on. Yes. I remember being like that when I was young.
Which is what a lot of America's missing now. Yeah. I'll say that. But anyway,
they couldn't pick a socket to save their life. No. But anyways,
I was cracking on that finger.
Honking on that.
I was shaving I'd seen a high spot. I was like, that's a bone spur.
Calcium deposit.
I said, this dude was old. No, I was over there and I was shaving on it. He was like, don't do that. And I was like, why? And then they told me, he was like, that's probably someone's leg bone. Well, Ben knew a fella that was, he was some type of medical examiner of some kind.
Yeah.
And he banked with Ben. So Ben just called him and asked him about it. He's like, yeah, just bring it up here and we'll send it up to, I guess UK does something up there with that.
Yeah, they do a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, they sent up there, sure enough. And I think they said 50, 60 years old. So It was very, very old bone. It was so old that it was like, it had been real rolled and weathered with the rocks, but like the joints on the end of the bone were still like really pronounced. Like you could see the socket sides or the ball, on both sides. And then the knuckle at the bottom.
I ain't no telling where that came from.
No, they never did come down there and do anything.
That could have been all the way up in, Jackson County somewhere.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. There was like, where do you start? They asked us where we found it, and it was just down past the ball alley, at the mouth of Sinking.
Yeah.
That shoal right there. They just was crossing. They went down there to fish and found that big old long bone. I found deer horns in that stuffed up in that bank, like 3 and 4 foot thick bank of mud, river mud.
Yeah.
Like find a horn like crammed up in it and pull it out. Dustin Minyard, maybe he'll hear this, man, maybe bring it by. He found one so old it was almost stone. Like it was so hard and it was black.
Like the antler?
Yeah, it was jet black.
You find it in the dirt?
Like stopped way up in the bank. Me and him were going up through there, and I was like, he's like, dude, definitely. Oh yeah, like so old.
That's definitely like Indian,
definitely Indian,
something.
Yeah, like an Indian.
They probably whacked that thing there. Or something.
Well, this was like what they do with horns. I'm sure they used tool wise, but no, this was just like a little 3-prong.
Yeah,
but
the only thing I know of them using antlers for would have been just like the little whenever they're napping.
Yeah, flint napping.
The pick one, not the big. Well, they use the antler for that too.
The base, the big
pop. Yeah, and then they got like the little fine.
And they'd crack them edges to put the serrate on it. Well, yeah, so he found one there. But anyway, found that old bone in the river. But man, I've been thinking about that ball alley hole and catching them big. You know what it's like when you crack you let your little fingy, and it's good and moist from the morning dew. Mm-hmm. Everything you got on's wet.
Everything's moist.
Everything.
Yeah.
You can't hide from river, that good river moistness in the morning, that good dew.
No, that's why you wake up with the throat hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Like it will
puddles,
do that.
I fell asleep, and when I opened my eyes, I was underwater. Because puddles of dew had settled in my eyelids. And I woke up and was like, I ain't even joking. That literally happened to me one time. You remember trying to lay
in that swinging bed out there, and that damp?
Oh, yeah. Like you're rolling in a wet sock is what it's like. You're in a big old wet sock and just like, good Lord, can I not get dry?
It's like squelching.
You'd be better off if you just like slept in the water. You'd be drier. You'd at least feel better. You'd come up clean.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like a dew is just dirty. It's like a good wet, dirty dew.
Yeah, it's like disgusting and just gritty. It's almost like it's not even dew. It's like there's some kind of grease in it or something.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely makes the skin lactate.
I don't think it's just it's not just H2O. It's not.
No, it's got poison ivy juice mixed in it.
There's something else.
Dust.
There's something else in there. It's like like how they do the essential oils.
Yes.
And it's like evaporating those oils. It's something like that. Or like above your stove on the ceiling, how it turns yellow.
Yeah. It's like cigarette grease.
That's what river.
That's the river. The river is smoking a big cigarette. It's got a big cigarette lit. Like over the night, it's like, gosh, man, I can smoke. It's like smoking a big old cigarette, and then that just heavy caking on you. It's like going in a big old
feet propped up on the end table and boots off, and it's wearing a pair of those like Hanes socks with the red stripe on it,
and they're curled up over the end of the toe, like they're grinched on the end of his feet.
One of them's up. He's like, oh shit, sit down for a while.
It's been a minute.
That is Rockcastle River, and it's got its beauty too, but it's got a little trash to it, which is good. That's what you want.
Oh, you're definitely going to find piles of garbage on that river. When I walk, I tread lightly.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to lay your foot right down on a big old crack needle.
Yeah.
Big old diabetics are everywhere out here right now. They're just insulin and everywhere.
Yeah. And in Kentucky, you have a lot of young men on steroids. So there's their needles. You've got a lot of people that are diabetics because we eat very poorly around here.
Yeah. We got a lot of diabetes.
We don't move much. A lot of diabetes. And to top it off, the main offender would be the crack needles.
Do you remember when we're probably going to level that like 90%, 99, 100, I'm going to be saying it's safe to say probably 100% of the needles I have seen in my life have been attributed to drug use.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll say it that way. Like I would, I've never seen an old man like down on the river being like, "Lord, my insulin," and then like flick his needle out in the river, and be like, "Grandbabies, get ready." Like if they're old and they're on diabetes and they're at the river, they got their grandbabies naked in the river swimming. Like them kids is over there, and he's like, "I ain't gonna let my youngin step on no needle." So
yeah, for sure. You remember the time we went frog gigging and walked up on that Walmart bag? And it was down under the grass. And I was like, I heard it. I heard it going like bag sounds. Like,
Yeah, like roughly. Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck was that? It wasn't grass, And I turned around and looked. I couldn't see it. And I moved my leg again, heard it again. And then I looked and it was a Walmart bag jammed full of crack needles.
Yeah.
For they'd come out there just cracking. Yeah, dude. What if that prick my leg or something? Give me AIDS.
Like right then, you was just like, AIDS, like, bam.
AIDS! Do what?
Whole dang these saw bars, and I'm like, damn, that's a crack needle.
As soon as it hits, you're like,
oh, these multiflora rows.
These saw bars eating my leg.
Imagine being turkey hunting and just like, how you'll sit in one spot forever and you like rustle your butt around to get, and you're like, good Lord, there's a needle. Something is eating me up. And you just like get up and there's like 13 dirty needles in your tail. Like how bad
this
that would be.
This sawbar's wearing me out.
Well, thankfully,
I get up, I'm like, and you just see the little orange cap things.
I was like, oh, dear Lord. And you went, I'm sweating like a mug.
Turn around. Immediately, like, get flushed. And eyes sink in. Like, oh!
Oh, what's the movie with, the one I'm talking, Dallas Buyers Club?
I don't know
Matthew
if I've seen
McConaughey is in it. It's about AIDS.
Yeah,
he gets AIDS.
Yeah, he's like jacked up.
That's the one where, like, he nearly, I think he died on that movie set.
Yeah.
That's all, I mean, like, he like got
CPR'd
to
him
nothing.
back. Yeah, he
for
looked
the
awful.
movie.
He looked awful. Him on that and the machinist or whatever, the Batman dude, Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah.
You ever seen him where he's like, you can see his ribs and
Really?
stuff?
I didn't know that one happened. I've never seen
him?
it, no.
Oh, I got to show you that real quick.
So he done the part, like he went too hard on the part? Is that what he done?
He went way too hard. Way too hard.
Why
like nobody was asking him to do this. I
understand why people don't like just get a body double and like let an old like hire an old actual AIDS victim to come in, and I don't mean
just
to
put that
talk
plaster to the
badly of
face.
people that have AIDS. I pray that you get better, but
I hope that you overcome it.
Yeah.
Yeah, check this dude out. That's Batman.
Oh my god.
That's Christian Bale, the Batman. He's normally like 190 pounds.
How little was he right there? He's Ethiopian small.
He looks terrible, dude.
That's terrible. I hate that. I hate seeing people do that to their bodies, but I mean,
Yeah. How's the bear situation been down at the cabin?
Let me just tell you what. So I go to the cabin 3 days ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm expecting, I've got so much going on in my mind. I've had no deer show up recently, and that's always exciting. And I get down there to my spot, and I'm like, it looks like a large mammal has just partaken to, laying in this spot for long periods of times. And then, of course, I see the massive piles of poop.
And they're mush piles, too.
Yeah.
They're like 10 inches around and 4 or 5 inches thick.
Big, heavy chunk poop. But anyway, I'm like, oh, well, great. Well, then, of course, he turned my camera around on the tree. Yeah. They're more curious than anything I know of.
They love them cameras, don't they?
They do.
They always come up and start jacking.
Well, I mean, I got the
them.
pictures on my phone. He just mushing it up. You see his little mouth come around, little mouth, large mouth.
Yeah, that big maw.
It's a big, big bear. And it had been there. The last pictures I got was of it there. So turned the camera around. It wasn't facing to the food pile. So, which I quit feeding, before rifle season. I quit feeding just because he showed up and I was like, or she did.
Yeah.
I was like, I ain't going to feed no more, but it just comes up there and lays. Yeah. And there's no more food there. I don't know what's doing. I guess it's just laying around where that corn used to be. But now the other spot, it had also been there. I had a bobcat playing with raccoons.
What the heck?
Yep.
Like on camera?
Raccoons weren't playing with it, but it was trying to play with him. It was laying on its back.
Does it look like a young one?
No, it's a big bobcat. Yeah. Big bobcat. It comes
in
like hunkered down, and I'm like, oh, it's about to pounce on this coon.
Yeah.
But that coon's back is like 4 foot high. Like it's like, how like it's like, they're getting like ready to attack.
Yeah.
It's backing up, hair's bristled up. The bobcat just starts laying down, like rolling on its back. I got a picture of its feet up in the air, and one of its side, and it just it stayed there for probably 10 minutes.
That's wild.
I'd never seen that.
Yeah.
And then the bear showed up, and then I quit getting picture. Look, and the bear showed up, and it just mushed everything flat. So,
is it the bear?
Same one.
That
Big Mama,
the one that's just
but the cub won't come around. Yeah, like
He probably killed it.
Could have ate its child.
It's
huge.
Yeah, I was telling somebody about that the other day and showed them. I don't know. They got scared. They started looking over their shoulders.
In the morning of rifle season, I was like, "That's the shortest legged cow I've ever seen."
Yeah, that
in
is
my life.
Shortest
like,
leg
Black Angus beef bull. And I'm like, well, that ain't a cow. Like, well, that's definitely not a cow.
That's a man killer. Man killer.
Well, she at the time I thought it was a he. I was like, gosh, that's got to be like a big old boar, but it was a sow.
Is it really? Dang.
Yeah, big old sow. She got them big teats on.
Bad girl.
Bad mama. Bad mama. That's a.
Now, does a bear teat? Is their teats down towards the bottom?
That's where I seen
these. Do they have teats up top too?
I don't think they have teats up top. I think they got like a milk bag, like an udder.
That'd be so funny.
I could be looking at a male genitalia too. I've got the picture.
It's probably his root. It's probably a male.
I thought, but he's got double roots.
You think he's got? Well, that's just pushing it too far. He probably don't have two roots.
It looks like two worn out. Could you look up and see where a bear's teat is located?
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I would imagine they're probably kind of like a dog.
Yeah, like probably low teats, low sack teat.
Yeah, and they got the teats that go all the way up to like
maybe, or they could just have the 4 teat.
They could. They could. Hog's got them all the way up.
Hog's got a big bunch of teats.
All right, let me just look up bear tits and see what we can find. This is
probably not going to be good.
This is not what I expect. I'm sorry, Lindsay. What the?
What do they got? He went, that's a man child.
Dude, I don't know what you're seeing down south, but
do they have it on their chest?
This has 4 teats on the chest.
Not what I'm seeing.
Let me look a little deeper into this. Is
that on a brown bear, black bear too?
This perhaps what you saw?
Absolutely not. That is
that's it.
I went, that is a roll of toilet paper.
Look at this polar bear.
Oh my gosh.
What is wrong with people, dude?
People are hardcore.
Well, this bear right here's got teats down low.
Okay.
And then this grizzly right here's got the 4 teats up high.
Yeah.
It looks like a double set of man teats.
Yeah, it does look like a quad of man teat.
Yeah, it looks like a man with quad teats. Same thing with this one. I'm not seeing any with them.
Well, ask where black bear's teat is. I could get my phone and we could.
We'll do black bear anatomy.
Yeah. Because it looks like 2 worn out teats hanging there and maybe a tip back behind those teats.
Are they?
They're big. Oh, they're like thumb size flaps. It's definitely not. It has to be teats. I mean, I don't know where they're. I thought I've seen a documentary and I've seen the brown bear, like you said. I thought I seen it nestled up under the front arms of its mom.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a black bear, big cub, baby.
Just try black bear tits. A mother bear has 6 nipples. The newborn cub or cubs crawls to the nipples closest to her pelvis to nurse, which is the lower teats. Part. That's the low teats.
It's a sow.
They like them south teats. They nurse from the top 4. As the cub gets older, they nurse from the top 4, and the mother often switches off production to the bottom 2. That's wild. So she just goes, all right, I'm done.
These 4 are done. You could imagine letting a bear.
Oh, dude, or a puppy.
I would switch.
Like a baby.
Yes,
I
feel bad for dogs.
Teeth. Yeah.
Because, they're just razors. I wonder if bears do the same thing.
Probably. I wonder if the teats up here are tougher. Probably. And more equipped to handle the gnawings of a baby bear.
Like, this is much more tough right here on you than this is like down here.
Somebody or something could gnaw on these teats. Yes. I wouldn't want them gnawing down here around my belly button. That'd hurt. Yeah. And I have been bit on the belly button one time.
Well, there you go.
And I still have a scar there. That was not. We won't go into that today. And something I was thinking about a couple days ago?
What?
With these bears? Why? Tell me why does Gatlinburg, Tennessee worship the almighty black bear?
Black bear, yeah.
And that thing is literally the nastiest. Coon. It's a... Exactly. Yes. That is exactly what I thought. That thing is none other than just a gigantic coon.
Yes.
Literally just a giant coon. They're nasty. They have the worst parasites and worms out of anything.
They're just a big old greasy, dirty coon.
A big, giant, greasy one.
People love it, though. They're all on it. You go to Gatlinburg and people's like, I saw a black bear. Like, I saw one. I was in the IHOP and it destroyed my Subaru.
It ran right through the parking lot. Right through the Dixie Stampede parking lot.
I stayed in Gatlinburg one time. Yeah. I've stayed multiple times and that was like a big. So I stayed there once, but no, I was there.
One time I was there all night. I slept there and everything.
You got half of Kentucky that vacations in Myrtle Beach, and the other half
it's one of the two.
45 miles to Gatlinburg.
And they're Christian Las Vegas.
It is. It's just like that is, and I ain't knocking it.
No,
because they have a blast.
I like it.
I went the other day.
Yeah.
I was at a Hammers there.
I'm literally going tomorrow.
Oh God!
I promise you, I'm going tomorrow. I'm taking my kid to it's not Soaky Mountain. It's the Wilderness in the Smokies.
Yes,
and
we're gonna eat. Park.
We're gonna eat IHOP.
Yeah,
we're gonna eat whatever other little places we want to down there.
I was just there. I went to the IHOP. I just got a notification on my Capital One card, verifying that I gave a $10 tip.
Heck yeah!
So
you gave a $10 tip.
I did.
Good on you.
They were good, dude. They were good.
Were they?
They were wicked good.
Well, I feel like to be an IHOP there, you have to be good.
Well, they got so many other choices. Think all the pancake houses that there are there.
It's everywhere you go.
Every turn. I
told my uncle one time, Wally, while we were down there, it was me, Wally, and a few of us other young boys. We were like between 5 and 10 years old, or 5 and 15, I don't know. But he was like, "What you guys want for breakfast?" And I was like, nobody was saying anything, so I just go, "McDonald's." And I thought he was going to pull over and beat me half to death for requesting McDonald's with all these pancake houses around. He got like so mad, and he talked about that the rest of the trip. I bet he still remembers it. Like if I mentioned it, he would
like,
probably.
"Oh yeah, I remember when you said that."
The time down there trying to eat freaking McDonald's.
McDonald's. You need to get him on the podcast. I would love to. He would be good.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, if I could keep it going that long.
Yes,
I think we probably could.
I think you could. Now the bear thing. I stayed there, and there was some people from. I think it was Pensacola, Florida, were next to us, and they were, they were out of towners, and you could tell it, and they were dumping marshmallows.
They were hoping to God to see the mighty black bear.
They were like, going nuts, and like I can remember raccoons, possums.
Might I add real quick?
Yeah,
that there is not even a very good population of black bears there.
No,
which is what's hilarious.
There's not even that many. They got like 3.
There. Yeah, there's 3 that
and they just
I think they're named.
They ransack the place. They're at every dumpster in the town, like every night.
I've been going there since I was like, I don't know, a newborn.
Yeah.
And I'm 28, and I've seen that I can remember 2 black bears. I seen one way out in the field, and both of these were at the
one place,
Kincaid. Cades Cove?
Cades Cove. That's it, Cades Cove.
Yeah, one of them was way out in the field, and the other one was in a tree, and we like walked up to it.
Yeah.
That was it. That's the only ones I've ever seen. No, I'll take it back. I've seen 3. No, she had cubs. So 4, 5, 6.
Okay, well, I take back what I said.
I take back what I said. They're loaded. They're loaded up with black bears down there. You got to beat them off with a stick.
Feel any better? I've never laid eyes on one in Tennessee.
Really?
But I have had my hands covered in them down here.
Yeah.
Like 30 minutes.
Oh, there's way more right here where we're at in Kentucky.
Yes. Dude, I had 6 different bears on camera. I had 4 in one picture.
Yeah.
I got bears, which I've heard for years they dump problem bears from Tennessee in the over there near Pulaski County. I've heard that for years, but I don't know how true that is. You know, that could be a bunch.
We're like the Australia of bears.
Like they're just like dump, and we got them.
Crazy Kentucky people can handle them.
That Cold Hill can have it, you know, and we've got them. We got them in Cold Hill now, and I reckon it's so bad over near Pineville and Straight Creek area, Hyden and Hazard and that over there. I mean, they're having they have problems. Like people can't feed their dogs.
Yeah.
Like my buddy Anthony lives in Harlan, and he can't feed his dogs past 7 o'clock at night because his dogs were getting ate. He had so many, which I'll give Anthony if he hears. You got a lot of dogs, bub. Like he's got too many dogs.
Yeah. Natural selections. What's going on?
He was having they were eating the dogs.
Something I can't let us pass up is but I also I want to hear the rest of your story of them Florida people dumping out.
Oh yeah, well all they done was they started dumping them all.
Let me focus. I have to remember this one, or if I forget
say it out loud, and I can remember it too.
You have to remind me of the time that Pappy thought coons were pulling the cooler.
The coolers off the porch.
Okay, continue with the Florida. We'll go back to that.
They're dumping marshmallows, and I want to say they even brought scraps home. I was there for 3 days.
They brought stuff
and
home
it was a
from
saga.
Dixie Stampede.
Oh yeah, they had. I was like, that's a sin to dump that.
I'll tell you what, you dump that soup out, and you're liable to have me out there.
Yeah, I'll lap it up off the ground. I was getting angry because they had a pile of food.
Yeah,
they had a big mound, and what they would do is at night they would come out there at 10 o'clock at night. 847 kids on that balcony, and them. Yeah. And then knowing what I know now of those, the integrity of those balconies, because you know what happened.
Oh yeah.
I about won't go on one. I don't know if I want, because those porches are 800 feet. I mean that.
Yeah, dude.
It's not even that.
They're even if they were built good.
Yes.
The spindles that they stick in there.
That's the thing, dude.
That stuff that wood rotten. That warps awful.
It's just all it takes a good thrust.
Yeah,
and boom.
Their pinholes that's going in the railing might be good when they built it, but dude, that thing, if it warps, that spindle might be sitting in there like a quarter
barely
inch.
Sitting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary. It really is scary. And they need they got to have somebody come through and inspect those porches.
Yeah.
Because I've been
I think when somebody dies, like they just put it back on and just let the bears eat them or something. Yeah. And just go on.
Well, the little girl in the hot tub, I mean, I know that's one you probably heard of, right? You heard about the hot tub falling with the little girl in it?
Oh, through the porch.
She lived. She was fine. She was bruised up really bad. But yeah, I think it was 30-something feet.
Yeah.
Like like just boom, boom, bam, smashes the ground. And I guess where she was in the hot tub, and hopefully it just like it went more of a straight line down. But I mean, imagine 5-6 people out there. The yeah. Thank God that she's okay. But yeah, so they were out there every night screaming, hooping, hollering, and like saying they would see one, and it would always be like a raccoon.
Yeah. Like, oh, man.
And I remember the last night, dude, 3 o'clock in the morning, they're out there and they were, and I didn't get up to see it, so I can't say I seen the bear.
Yeah.
One came out though. They had one. And I can remember it was so loud that by the time I made it out, there were porch lights on like all the way up to, everyone had heard it.
Everybody's going, oh, bear.
And they were like, because it was a little kid had spotted the bear.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, they went down there, was eating on all that good leftover stuff.
My dad, when we were kids, the whole, like, a big portion of the Fields family stayed at a cabin down there.
Yeah.
And somebody forgot their walkie-talkies. They'd brought walkie-talkies to use at Cade's Cove.
Yeah.
And they were like, we were still pretty close to the cabin. And they were like, can you go get those for us? And we said, yeah. I was a kid, man. I was probably like 9 or 10. And we pulled back into the cabin. After we had left it, we still had the keys. Like, we had to go drop off and everything.
Yeah.
And we pull up. It's dark outside. And this mama bear jumps out of our dumpster, followed by 2 babies.
Oh, no.
And my dad just goes, opens the door, and you know how he's bow-legged?
Yeah.
He just walks into the cabin. The bears were there like 2 seconds before that. And he just goes right in there. Don't even look over his shoulder.
Yeah, like completely unafraid.
Yeah, like he knew they weren't going to bother him. Then he goes in there and gets the walkie-talkies, comes back out, and walks. He had to park like a far away from the cabin, and that's where the bears were. It was like right next to the cabin. That's where they went. And he just lumbers back up to the van, doesn't even act like it. Like the whole time he's walking up there, he's just like, I would have been like, looking over my shoulder. Yeah.
I heard the guys are cooking.
I forgot a Twinkie in my pocket. He's coming for it.
Them old people had that no fear thing, Yeah. And then we'll go to my pappy, He was at the cabin, my mammy and pappy were, and they would go and stay for a long time. And I can't describe really on the podcast, but you're very secluded there. There's no, you're out. An hour from getting, like, if you were at the cabin to get out, it's an hour.
Yeah.
Of just driving on gravel and like mud, and it's a very hardcore mud road to the cabin. So they're down there, huge coolers. They're always packing. My mammy and pappy are like, they're not like a...
Same thing we were talking about earlier. Yeah. They brought enough for
6-7 weeks. Years, like he would
there
pack,
for a day.
Yeah. Whole country ham, that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
So they're down there. He had his big cooler on the porch, and they heard some rustling in the late of the night, which is about 8 o'clock probably, because they were already out.
You were there with them, right?
Child. I had in my little spot inside, and I can remember Pappy come through the big old set of saggy tidy whities.
Yeah, dude, the
and
back
he had
of them hanging down
like 14 foot. Never had no butt. I got some of that from him, and my child also inherited it. So he comes through, and he's like, I can hear that low grumble talking.
Yeah.
And I'm just laying there like, oh, it's not a mountain lion. Like, I was a kid that was nonstop thinking about, like, the mountain lion, the great lion.
Yeah.
Never thought about the bear. And this never did cross my mind. I don't know why. But it didn't. And he goes out there and he's like, yeah, like, he's thinking it's coons.
Yeah.
And he comes back in. And I can remember bringing one of the
Was the porch screened at that time?
Yeah, porch was screened. They were on the screen.
So they had already, like, tore into the porch.
Well, no, this was the porch you walk in on, so there was no screen on it. And where the coolers were heavy, like, he didn't want to pack them any further than that porch.
Yeah.
But he had one Playmate cooler, that you push down the top, like, rolls.
Yeah, that's what I got.
The OGs. Yeah. He had one of those, and that's what it packed out in the yard the first time. But he didn't pay attention to like the huge teeth marks that were in the cooler, like it had picked the cooler up. And he thought maybe coon dog is what he thought. Like someone lost a coon dog and it was just trying to get in there.
Yeah.
Because he said he heard some stuff. But he just goes back out the porch, lays down. I hear him snoring a few minutes later. I'm like, okay, well, everything's better.
Yeah, we're fine.
And I go back to sleep and I'm laying there. And then I hear like the clunk of chunking on the porch. And here he gets up again. He's like,
that dragging sound, like,
yeah, like, and then I heard like, doo, doo, like, the cooler. And then I heard like more noise. But this time it was the big cooler. Yeah. Like the big long white cooler that weighed like 100.
Igloo.
Yes,
yeah, dude.
And it's massive. It's a chunk. Well, that bear had got it and pulled that thing off the porch.
That's the reason he had the outie belly button.
Yes, he had a huge hernia. Yeah, it looked like a navel orange is what it looked like on his stomach. And but he had it his whole life.
Yeah.
That's why I think my wife's been griping at me recently because I don't have health insurance, and she's wanting me to get like health insurance. I'm like, you don't need a doctor for everything, My pappy, he would go to the VA, but the only reason was to visit with people.
He just wanted to go see his buddies.
Yeah, that's it. Like that was his only deal. But like he went his whole life with like a massive hernia the size of a navel orange.
Yeah,
and he done great. He probably could have been in better health. But anyway, back to the story. He goes outside and he's like, good Lord. And I can hear him dragging when he gets it back up on the porch. And then he hollers again, comes back in, goes back to sleep.
Yeah.
And he, meanwhile, he's naked. Nothing's protecting him but those tidy, thin, worn out tidy whities. He goes back and lays back down on the back porch. And then I hear my mammy go, Con! And he goes, boy! And she goes, it's a bear! And it had it double paws like up on the screen, like looking through the screen wire, and she could see it by like candlelight because they were anti-generator. Like we had like oil lanterns walking around, so she had a candle. And he goes, I hear doo, just like boom, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm like laying in that bed
like 3 a.m.
I was terrified. I was just like,
oh God,
am I gonna die? Because I thought, well, they had killed them, and like it's gonna come through the door and get me. But anyway. He did. He did shoot it. And
he blasted it.
I'm not going to say whether or not, I didn't personally see the bear that night.
Yeah.
But, stuff happened. But anyway.
The bear didn't see anything else that night.
No. 38, he met his demise. But
well,
anyway.
I mean, if you're a little old man down there with your grandson on your own property and this flipping bear is dragging your coolers out.
Yeah.
You got to think about the safety of your family.
Exactly. Like, he wasn't going to let this bear.
And you want a full night's sleep.
Yeah. Oh, and let me tell you something right now. We did not go looking for that bear. Like, he went right back to bed. He never even came inside.
That's so funny, dude.
Mammy came.
Why was nothing impressive to them? Like, nothing was crazy to them.
He would tell me all the time. He'd be like, don't act like you ain't been here before. Like, he didn't want me... Like, he was always, like, make a good shot with a gun, like, when we be shooting. And I'd be like, yeah! He'd be like, don't act like you ain't been here before. Like, he was real big about, like, he didn't want showboating.
Don't get excited. Yeah.
No, he came home in a brand new truck. He sold his cash register company. Your aunt used to work for him years ago. Mm-hmm. He sold his cash register company. He bought a brand new Nissan Frontier. Or what were those trucks? It was the hard body, Nissan hard body, like their little pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
Brand spanking new, off the showroom. Like it was inside. And he bought it and came home, and first day goes to the cabin in it.
Heck yeah, dude.
Like, he was one of them guys, and it had splash on the side.
Yeah.
Like the...
well, look back at it now. What if he would have been like one of the pricks that's real anal about his truck?
Yeah.
Like, he's gone now. Yeah. But you've got that memory of him just like sending it.
Yeah.
He sent it in a brand new truck down to the cabin. And I can vouch and say that cabin road it can be really bad.
Yes.
Like your rims are getting scrubbed.
Yeah. Well, not only to that, he didn't like the splash, because they had the splash graphic on the side.
Yeah.
The very next day he had Agent Orange. Is that it's like a abrasive scrub.
Oh, you're talking about the Gojo?
Yeah, I think it's Gojo. I think it was Gojo.
Like the sand mixed in it? Yeah.
He peeled those off and scrubbed that adhesive off with that.
Oh, my God, dude.
Like 2 days after he bought it. He said, I hate them stickers. He said, I wish they wouldn't do that to a vehicle. I'm like, and took them suckers off.
He should have just rode it back and forth to the cabin a couple of times, and the limbs would have took him off.
Wiped it off. But yeah, like that was his. That was, and like he just didn't care. The material
that attitude
stuff
is so funny to me. Like, old people, or not just old people. It's just like certain people, but more so old people. Like if that were me down there, and with my kid and wife and a bear, like if I shot it or whatever, I'd be making a pretty big deal about it.
Yeah,
you know. And the fact that he's just like rolls over, pulls the, what was it, 38?
38, yeah.
And just blows
38
it.
too.
Yeah, blasts this bear and just goes straight.
He didn't even come. Bed. He never came inside. My mammy was like, "It's okay, baby," and I was like, "Okay, mammy." And she's like, "Just go back to bed."
He's already snoring, dude.
He never came in. He never went out on the porch. I remember I was so excited the next day. I was like, "Let's eat bear's dead." And he's like, "Get in here." Yeah. Like he's like, "We ain't eat yet."
Time for breakfast.
He was eating, and then we started the day. Like, but he didn't. Which now he would eat at 5 o'clock in the morning too.
Yeah.
Like my pappy was up.
That's why he shot the bear. It was almost breakfast time.
Yeah,
dude.
like he
still had another hour to get.
Gotta get sleep before I start frying this bacon.
Yeah, dude, I love that. I love like that whole. I don't even know if it's like the generation, but like I said, maybe it's just a certain type of person. I don't know, but like they just don't get excited.
No,
like they don't make a big deal.
But they were super genuine. Yeah, dude. Like I can remember his exciting times was times like I remember when I killed my first deer and something, like that I done, that my Aunt Jamie actually sent this to me the other day. Yeah. He wrote in a little book, like every time he would go down there, my pappy had extremely good penmanship, and he was a very good writer too. Like I didn't know this about my grandfather until he passed away. Mm-hmm. I had seen some notes he'd written when he was in the service, or some letters to my mammy.
Yeah, you have like that cool cursive looking.
Oh yeah, extremely, extremely good. And I mean, no lines on the paper, and everything was just straight as an arrow. Heck like I'm just so good at writing. And so he had wrote her some stuff, but he would write when we would go to the cabin. Mm-hmm. And she had got in there and was reading some, and I didn't know this book was down there, but it is, and it looks like an unsuspicious book for a journal, but it's a journal, and it's been logged from 1974 to before he died. And so the last time I was at the cabin, the last time my pappy ever went to the cabin was with me, and it was just me and him. Yeah. And so our trip consisted of, we cut a huge, massive tree out of the road to get there, just kind of little things. And then I cut some wood while I was out down there for us to have some firewood on the porch. And while he was there, he'd wrote a letter, about it, about the trip and that book. So I thought, how neat is that, that's in there. I'd talk about it, or I'd probably cry. But he had journaled in some of that, but he had wrote some stuff when I was a kid during deer season. And how important.
Went to the cabin with James today. Poor little brat.
He was like, he said, this kid, or my James can talk at subsonic speeds, was one thing he said.
Supersonic?
At supersonic speeds, not subsonic, supersonic speed. And because I can remember being so hyped about.
Oh, yeah.
Even as a child, like when I was little.
And if you didn't have a grandparent that would like tell you to shut up, dude, you would flap 100 miles an hour. At least I would.
I know I was. I could only imagine like doing things with me when I was little. Thank the Lord for a somewhat patient family. And I'm just so thankful that they invested that time in me to be able to do those things. I think that's speaks volumes of what we need to do as parents. Now, you got your little girl and I've got a little boy, and I know that a bunch of people are going to listen to this. Hopefully they have children, and if they don't, maybe they will, but invest in that time with your kids.
Yeah, that's one thing I've done, and like I for sure
am proud that part up. Yeah,
is that I've spent a lot of time with my kid already. Compared to like a lot of people or parents or whatever, I've spent tons of time with Willow, just doing fishing, whatever. It don't matter.
And it don't matter what it is. Yeah, just doing stuff with them.
I was trying to find a clip, and it might be on the gram.
I wonder what it is of.
I'm going to show you here.
I was thinking about that one trip we took to the cabin where I think Noah was with us.
Yeah.
We fried those fish and stuff, and like how miserable of a rock. It rained and the water was so muddy, but we it was a miserable morning to get the boat out and like get on that water, but we were so jived to do it. Like we were just pumped about getting out there.
Yeah, that was fun.
We'll definitely have to do that again.
I need to go on a cabin trip, man. I ain't been down there in a long time.
You need to go because right now, oh my gosh, like it's bumping in there. Like we got new couches.
Oh heck yeah!
Beds are all new upstairs. Floor's been redone.
You know, I've anytime I ever went down there, I think I always just slept on that couch.
Yeah, well the couch, like we got new big what is it called? It's that brown, like almost a suede. Yeah, it's suede.
Yeah.
Big old suede couch, a new recliner. We still have the futon down there and 2 more couches, big TV on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I finally found it. It's on Facebook.
All right. What is it?
So I'm going to play the audio.
All right.
First.
I'll pick it up, I'm sure, as soon as you do it.
You will automatically know exactly what this is.
Let me get a video. You got him? All right.
Was this was I shooting a spider on the screen?
I don't like spiders. I guess I showed him, didn't I? That was a big...
That was that trip that we stayed down there for like 4 days. If you want to see it. I don't even know if you can see the spider in the video.
Gosh, it's huge. I can see it. I remember it vividly. It flashed right on the spider.
Well, I guess I showed him. That was that trip we were going, I think you met my friend Dylan. We were being nuts.
I remember when we were like packing up for the head out voyage.
Yeah.
Do you remember I had no cell phone at this time, but I had that HTC Android phone.
Oh, the music?
The music.
I remember it. I was thinking about this like a week ago. The that one time we were down there, the bed of your truck was gone.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't go anywhere in two-wheel. And you were trying your best to go down in this little hole and back out in two-wheel.
Yes.
And the whole time you were just repeat playing. You repeat playing that stupid ringtone.
The transition that has happened, the growth in the world that I alone have seen with the technological advances. You know, like I was around before MP3, you were too. You know, we got, obviously, I talk like we're 100 years old. We're not that old, but.
Yeah, but like to me, I grew up and like I'm a millennial and a 90s kid. I was born in 95. But most of the kids that were born my age, like 95, that are 27 to 29 now, they had the new consoles. They had the new phones and stuff. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't have any of that. I grew up like I was a 90, like 91, 92.
Yeah.
I played on the Sega. I played on like old Nintendos, like the NES, the super old stuff. I didn't have any of the new stuff. And I didn't get a phone till I was like 16.
Yeah. Well, you helped me set my first one up. I was 18 when I bought my own iPhone 4.
Yeah.
And I rocked iPhone 4s way past when a man should be rocking an iPhone 4. Yeah, you shouldn't have had
one any longer.
I shouldn't have had one. I shouldn't have had a phone at that age anyway.
I had like a little flip-up texture phone first.
Yes.
And the first smartphone I got, it took me a long time to get a smartphone. I was probably 18 or so.
Dang.
I would say.
Well, anywho, you know, that was one of those things. I don't know where I got the phone from. It never functioned, but it had ringtones.
Yeah. What sucks is like I don't know that we could find that audio again. I wish so bad. I would make it the intro to this podcast.
I would too. I would keep. I remember it. I was like, I would just replay it.
Yeah,
but that was the only tunage we had.
Yeah, that was it.
Just replay. And so I had an aux cord on a cassette tape. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, dude.
That's
what I had in my Jeep at first.
It was a cassette tape, but it had an aux cord coming out.
I think it was the little truck I had.
Was it the S10 you had? Yep, that's it.
I think so. Like the tape, and it looks like the most jerry-rigged thing ever.
But it worked.
An aux cord jammed into a tape is what it is.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And now, like you can't even get an iPhone that has an aux jack on it.
Yeah.
They don't have them no more.
There are no such thing.
This is the only way. That's what I've done right here.
Yep.
Is like the lightning to auxiliary or RCC, whatever they call those.
But now that was
yeah, man.
Dang, them was some times.
I definitely grew up at like what I would call before my time.
Oh yeah,
like I didn't grow up like a lot of people did.
Like in that current day. Yeah,
other people had
way
smartphones
back.
for years before I did.
I remember like coming up with money to buy a Python.
Yeah.
And I was in 5th grade, but like my parents were pretty dead set on like me not getting it. And they thought, well, if we tell him, he has to come up with his own money,
he won't do it.
Well, I did. I was like, I worked with my dad, and I'm pretty, child labor absolutely happened to me.
Yeah.
I'm sure
me as well.
Yeah, because
definitely.
Was it that bad?
No, it wasn't bad at all.
Like at the time, I was like, I wish I was doing what my friends was doing.
Yeah, I wish I was on summer break playing Xbox.
But I wouldn't take nothing for those days.
Shoot, no,
I was going to ask you something this too. I was thinking of this on the way over because my truck is filled with water bottles, empty water bottles. Mm-hmm. Can you remember drinking water bottles a lot when you was growing up? It was like tap water, or they packed a big cooler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the button coolers like at the games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I remember my whole childhood, my pap had one that was metal and porcelain. It had a porcelain insert. Inside of metal. And when we would do tobacco, or we would be doing pumpkins or whatever we'd be doing, I remember working for Vince Eversole when I was young, loading pumpkins on a trailer.
We'd done that for years with Dad. He always had like the Gatorade looking one, the big
orange
one.
ribbed Gatorade with the white screw-on lid.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's what we had.
And that's what you got your water out of. We just didn't have
bottles of water.
No.
Ever.
That's become like a big thing. I can remember when Aquafina hit the market and everyone's like, Aquafina.
Yeah.
Like Big Lots had them on sale. Maybe like we can finally get some Aquafina. Big Lots has it on sale again. I remember a time that I got this little yellow scooter. And it was a bicycle, but it was a miniature hard-wheeled bicycle. And I might be able to find one, but I can remember as a kid, I seen this in a paper that came in the mail, this bicycle at Big Lots, and I was like, I was absorbed.
We have to go to Big Lots.
I remember asking my mom, and my mom was like, listen, honey, I'll talk to your dad. Maybe you get it. And I can remember we went to go and get that. And going in that Big Lots, I was just like, I was elated. I can remember being so excited. I was like, I'm going to get this thing and I'll ride it everywhere. And it was just made for like concrete. It had flat wheels. Like it was flat, blocky wheels, and they were only like this big. And it could be folded in like, it could be folded like into a carry case. Mm-hmm. But I can remember getting that. I was thinking of that the other day. I was like, gosh almighty, I wonder what my little boy's going to be like,
Yeah.
I just want to be able to keep, I want him to grow up a little bit like that, like.
Yeah.
It's not that I want to like shelter my child from everything, but.
Yeah, I just don't want them super immersed in like what's new and all that.
Yeah.
Because it's just not, I don't know.
It's definitely different. But man, oh man, the crap.
Something crazy I was thinking about a couple of days ago is like Christmas presents. Like there's literally nothing hardly that you could get me that I wouldn't already know about
or have.
Yeah, like anything that I want.
We're not doing them this year.
Really,
first year of my life, like my whole family's like, we're out.
Yeah,
I told them, I was like, we've got you. Do you know how much crap that we have?
And even if you did want something, like exactly what you want. Like you can't go, I mean, you probably could, but people can't just go and pick out like exactly, because back before they didn't know what all existed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you know like everything that exists. Like if there's some kind of knife, like I need me a good knife. You'd go pick me out a good knife.
Yeah.
But now like I need me a good knife and I want this one right here specifically.
You know what I mean? What would suit every need you have, and like I just am not going to know that.
No.
And the thing being too, like you got your own money. Mm-hmm. Like you can buy your own presents. Or you can get your own things.
That's what I was telling Mom. She was like, she's always been a big Christmas person, which is great.
My whole family too.
I love Christmas.
Yeah.
But, like you almost can't get me anything. There's like nothing I want. And anything that I do want,
you would just enjoy like, let's all get together, eat, and enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
Don't involve the presents. Like it's not that you do. It's not that you don't
Lindsay
want.
ain't got nothing for like the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Because anything, I'm not ain't gonna be able to pick out what she wants.
No,
ain't no way.
I'm in this debate.
And she can't pick out what I want.
Yeah.
Like, what's she going to get me? A new knife? It's going to be the wrong one. It's not going to be the one I want.
It'll be like,
which is fine. Like, I ain't saying like I wouldn't appreciate it or anything. But it's almost like It's almost like trying to pick out something, like a gun for somebody or something.
Yeah,
Like
I just wouldn't know what to do. Yeah. It would be something I would like, and then I'd get it and give it to you and be like, oh, this is, it's great for you.
Yeah, I hate that you spent $800 on a gun that I don't want.
Yeah.
I really wanted this one,
Better maybe to be like, if you really want to get a present for somebody, maybe you might know exactly what they want, and you might be able to do that. But money's never bad, for a present.
Kids are a little easier because they don't have access to the internet, like they don't understand.
A toy, like you probably know your daughter well enough to be like, I could definitely make her happy with a present.
Because she doesn't know all that exists.
Exactly. But like if she knew that dollhouse you got her had a predecessor that was there, one that before it or after it, either one that is like 10 times better, she'd be like, well, this is junk.
You let her cruise through all the babies on Amazon for an hour. And then you buy her just one baby that you pick out. It's going to be the wrong one.
She'd be like, I want the one that was more realistic. Yeah. You're like, well, baby, that one's $300.
That one costs a lot of money.
A lot more than I paid for this one. She's like, no crap, because it's junk.
I can tell. The leg keeps clicking off.
My aunt Jamie bought my cousin a baby doll this year. My cousin Elizabeth. I have a cousin, what I would call like a niece in a sense, because she's so young.
Oh yeah, Jamie had a girl.
Jamie had a little girl at really late in life, and she's like, I think she's 8 now.
Yeah,
but she got her a baby doll. So kind of strange.
Yeah,
won't go into that a lot, but
I'll stop there.
Look,
let me see this knife
pause it here. Oh, prime example. Got a story behind that one, a river story. So that was my pappy's knife. He let me use it. I was infatuated with that knife as a child.
Yeah.
Heckler & Koch. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They make a lot of kitchenware knives and stuff. Yeah. Kind of an older knife, but
H&K, baby.
So I got it and was using it to check trot lines. Me and Jesse was. And he sent us down to Red Eye Rock to go check some limb lines we had set. Me and Jesse get a massive smallmouth off the limb line.
Yeah.
We're kids, and it was huge, like 6.5 pound smallmouth on the river, which is a toad.
Oh, yeah.
And we come up there and we're so pumped about it. I get out of the boat on the river. I lose the knife.
This one.
I lost it. But I didn't know I lost it there, I came up the bank, we showed him the fish, and we were sitting around the fire, and he said, go cut me a marshmallow stick.
You went.
Oh, I mean, I still get nervous thinking about it back then because, my pappy was hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, he'd been like, like he didn't give me the knife. He was letting me use the knife. Like, he wasn't giving it to me. And I hadn't had possession of it that long and lost it. So, I remember going down. I cut him a stick, but I went
that's
far.
The worst. It's making me get clammy just thinking about it.
Oh, I was so nervous.
That's the way my dad was with knives and stuff. If you lost his knife, dude, you might as well have.
Jump off the cliff.
Yeah, just go ahead and kill yourself.
Lose yourself.
Yeah, go find it and cut your neck because you're dead meat.
I went and cut a limb with a hatchet and sharpened it with the hatchet and everything. Hid in the woods and done this, and then I came back and gave it to him.
What, were you crying? I
was like, I was just scared, fast shaving. I was like, oh my gosh. And give it to him, and then I shoot straight down the bank, and I'm like, maybe it's in the boat. Yeah. Please, Lord, let it be in the boat. And I was praying. Like, I remember specifically praying as I was going down that sandy bank. And I get down there, and I'm looking in the boat, and I'm like, no. And I remember I almost started crying because I was little. And I looked down, and right in front of me in the water, just shimmering, just barely covered by the sandy bank.
Yeah.
I see that, like, silver end and that emblem, and I was like, thank you, Lord.
It cannot be.
And I picked it up, and I was like, and it was just God put it there, for me to see. The same way with that knife we lost in the middle of the shoal.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was just,
That's a big old shoal, too.
Yes, huge shoal. How are you going to see a knife in the middle of it's every bit of
and it wasn't
50,
even that
50
shiny.
60 yards wide.
That knife wasn't that shiny. It was like,
it was a dull finish.
Pitted up,
Perfect time of the day. Sun beaming on that shoal.
Yeah.
And bam, there's the knife. Like, it's just so crazy. It was crazy. Just, what I call a God thing.
I wish that those handles like swelled up from the water.
I remember that.
Popped off.
Yep. We still used it, though. We were still rocking it. We had to cut limb lines somehow.
It was a good one. I still have it. It's over there in the shop.
I guess something we definitely need to make time for would be a big river trip this year.
I have to go.
I know you go on the Cumberland thing. a lot, but I would like to go down here to the cabin. I fish for walleye in February. I'll start fishing like even right now. You can fish the river if the river's right for walleye.
Yeah. Is it pretty good?
So, yeah, really good. I have good luck. I don't catch monsters, but I might come out of the 4 or 5 pounder every now and then. But you can go down there to Skaggs.
Fish.
Very good eating. Your opinion on walleye as being, that's like your flathead of the catfish. Like your walleye is like the pinnacle. Like there being nothing better than the walleye. Would you agree or disagree?
If I can have any fish, freshwater fish,
you're going to eat a freshwater fish. And
it's completely spit.
Your truth.
My truth. My truth.
I've heard this saying. We'll get on that maybe in a second, but your truth.
Mine. It's the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a complete toss-up between these two. Like, I don't have any. I'm not leaning one way or the other. To me, they're the same. Is what I'm trying to say. Skin on bluegill, skin on crappie.
Yep.
Fillets.
That's your two.
Yep.
I
like them hog dressed and fried too, so you can eat them tails.
Oh, dude, that crunchy chip
like
tail.
if I have like a big plate full of crispy skin on crappie and some tartare sauce,
you're gonna eat.
I'm about to eat. You need to turn your kids away.
You're scaling and skin on, right?
Yep, scaling and then
filleting. Gotcha.
Yep. So you don't have to like flip it and
click the bone off.
Yeah, you can just with a spoon or knife, whatever, and then just cut the fillet off
and eat.
You got one beautiful fillet. That's my favorite way to eat fish.
You know what I'm like? I like the walleye. I've noticed sometimes it can be, if it's frozen and unthawed, it's mushy. Like it just gets mushy.
Like it's break it down.
Yeah, it just breaks it down. But I'm almost right there with you. Like I could rock out.
I think that's why I like the crappie and bluegill so good, because the muscle fibers are like so dense.
Yes, and it's
there's a ton of them.
Yeah, a flake. Yeah. Like it's very flaky.
It's not like the big, thick, mushy flakes.
Yes.
Like catfish is big and mushy.
Big mushy.
Yeah, big old mushes. And then like a bluegill or a crappie, it's just like it's almost like chicken.
Yeah,
like really super tender chicken.
Yeah, I would say fish. I'd sit right on that for sure. That's a staple for me. I'm a bluegill, bass.
And it's fun because it's so easy to catch them.
Yeah,
panfish are easy to catch.
They're just it's something awesome to do too.
Yeah, you can get out there. You can catch like 10 of them and go back and eat them all yourself. Yeah. No problem. Some tartar sauce.
That's what
stop by IGA and get some coleslaw, baby.
IGA coleslaw. My mother-in-law is an IGA coleslaw lady.
Oh yeah,
like always buying that coleslaw, and she'll show up with like a 15-pound.
They do good,
and they
know how to make their slaw.
They can make slaw, and a good my mammy and my mom, in particular, my mom can make a really good hush puppy.
Yeah.
Or the mix,
Yeah.
And then we just fry that mix. But
I used to do that. I used to make them at home until I got some at IGA. I was like, I don't want to make those today. So I went.
I don't want to do this.
Exactly. And I went down the aisle and seen them and just grabbed them. First ones I seen. And
really?
Dude, they're so good. Yeah. Deep frying them.
Mm. I can get on some of that food.
Yeah.
I can eat.
I can partake in eating. It don't bother me a bit.
Don't bother me a bit. My belly still.
Hurting?
No, not hurting. Just got big belly. Yeah. I've been growing recently.
Been growing good?
Yeah, I got
what are you
2
weighing
inches
in at
taller.
Right now?
250 probably.
250, really?
I'm probably 250.
You think so?
I need to get. You got a scale here?
No, I don't.
I need to weigh.
You look like. I'd say, I don't know, because I'm 200 right now.
I'm every bit of like 2. I know I'm over 230 for sure.
You've been growing.
Well, the holidays bring it out in me. Yeah. And this wintertime, I fatten up.
It's
the
natural.
summer, I get thin. I'm down. Yeah. I'm about 220 in the summer. You catch me in August.
I think what happens is like when you're young, you just kind of stay the same. Like, yeah. This is winter. This is summer.
Your parameters. Bam,
and your parameters keep doing this.
And you're like
you do slim down.
You catch me 2 years later, I'm like about 350 right now. I am smoking about 4 packs a day.
But I'll slim down in the summer.
But I'm back down about 210 in the summer. You're telling me you lose 300, you was almost 150 pounds?
It's not possible, James.
I went, it happens.
It's what it does.
I think it's the clothes.
Yeah.
I thick layers.
It's just Carhartt is what it is. These Carhartt thermals are heavier than
They're
lead.
just thick. I do. I put on the pounds in the wintertime. I probably put on at least 15 pounds. But I believe
I usually gain the
that
most
spread.
September to December.
Yeah.
And then usually like around December, I'm like, man, I'm getting kind of disgusted.
I'll do that. Like I know
where
I'm almost about to do that. Like I kick off about February. I'm like, all right, cut down. Like no more double orders of anything.
Yeah. Like I don't need 2 Big Macs. I don't have to eat 2 Big Macs.
Why is it that if you see the deal running, you're like, give it to me?
Yeah. And like you're only hurting yourself. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
I used to be in this headspace. Like when I'd go to Taco Bell, I'd be like, this meal is $6 and it's 700 calories. Like it's enough. Like this is what I need. But this meal is also $6, but I get double the food. I get the double the food.
Yeah.
Because I want my money's worth, but all I'm doing is making
swelling
myself
your belly
fat.
up, hurting your belly.
Yeah.
Getting yourself like too full to do things properly.
Exactly.
Because if I I got to work, like I'll leave here and I got to go to the high school and do some work.
Yeah.
And hopefully by then, like I'll be unstrutted enough to like properly move good.
To bend down and
not be
grab
like,
a wire nut.
Gosh, and
just miserable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it that we do that? And what's crazy is I flip flop. I'll go into like this big long 6-month, 5-month phase of I don't give a crap. Give me the double. Give it to me. I want that. And then all at once I'll just switch, and it just happened recently. Like I switched on a dime, and I'm like, why am I doing that? Like it's not good for me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And now like I'm eating less, and I feel way better.
Yeah.
You know,
you feel more mobile.
Yeah.
You look better.
Yeah.
Your face my face gets all flustered and flabby. I'm just like, like I don't sleep good. I snore more when I'm heavy.
Yeah, I've been snoring a lot.
Yeah.
Lindsay told me, which I have. You can kind of probably hear it in my nose. Like I
still got it
I've had this crap for like
a year and
3
a half
months now. Yeah, it's been 3 years.
He's had diarrhea since Easter's.
Oh, I love that.
But I don't know. It's definitely something I struggle with. The seasons.
Yeah. I love to eat. I like junky food. I like trashy stuff, man.
We touched on
not
that.
taking care of myself very much. Like that is fun. Smoking cigarettes and just eating garbage and stuff. Dude, that is fun. That is fun.
I don't know if it's I feel like Kentucky is a cigarette hub.
It's probably like per capita.
We're at the hub.
Per capita, this is probably like the most smoking.
I want to know if someone can people comment on these at all?
Yeah, they could comment on it. They'd reach out.
I really want to know the question. Like, does anywhere else smoke so many cigs and like so many different brands? Like I know, like up north, Newports are really hard.
Yeah,
like, people love Newport up there.
Yeah, but
around here, you get anything and everything. Like but people smoke here, son. Like they smoke.
Dude, we're the top. We're us, West Virginia, Arkansas, and West Virginia, Arkansas, and Kentucky.
We're third in the list.
The states with the highest smoking rates. I think it's us, dude. Let me see here. Yeah. The highest smoking rates include West Virginia, Arkansas, and Kentucky. West Virginia is pretty much just Kentucky. Mm-hmm. It's like our tumor that grows off of our
it's like a little side punk.
Yeah. Around 20% of all adults smoked as of this time. Dang. Kentucky's a hub. It's just like people don't care here, and they're like kind of in poverty. A lot of people are.
I think cigarettes are definitely in touch with like if you're poor, you're smoking.
It's almost like things are bad anyways. This makes me feel slightly better. I'm going to have this. Yeah. And I get it.
So I get me a cigarette. Yeah. Like I've heard that. I have been outside of so many gas stations, and I've worked construction for years, and it's always like, all right, well, just get me a pack of Marlboros and Gatorade and give me a bag of chips. Yeah. Or give me a Monster and you got a cigarette before you go? Can I get a cigarette?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I hear, like, 99% of the time, like, if I'm working with other tradesmen.
Yeah. Well, I've heard...
like, give me a cigarette. Hey, you ain't got a cigarette on you, do you?
Yeah.
You got a lighter?
I've heard this. Like, they push up their Monster and their bag of chips, And they're
Like a mouth barrel.
pack of Reds.
Give me a pack of Reds.
And they'll be like, soft pack or hard. He's like, oh, soft.
Give me a soft pack always.
Yeah, and then they ring it up, and she's like, total 11.27, and he's like, make it Kentucky Best, and he pushes back the Marlboro.
Winston's. Give me Winston's.
Pall Mall.
Pall Mall 100s.
Paul Malls.
I seen a guy, so I made this song up years ago. I smoked for years, and I quit last October, so a little over a year ago. I have not touched a smoke. Like, I have not smoked a cigarette. I have breathed enough cigarette smoke recently to smoke the pack.
You've been staying in some gas stations too long.
I get secondhand smoke constantly everywhere I go.
But you go in that gas station, and instead of just getting your stuff and getting out, you're leaning up on the wall.
Oh, yeah. I went, Marlboro Light. So good. Anyway, I smoked heavy, especially when I would work. I'd smoke
How
a lot.
much?
I would smoke if a work day, I could smoke a pack in a work day.
So a pack,
but
a day,
I never was over a pack a day, man. Now, if I used to drink, I would smoke well over a pack in a drinking session, which I ain't done that in years. It's been probably be close to
drinking and a smoking
4 years this February. 4 years.
Heck yeah,
so
dude.
That's pretty dang good. But I would smoke and drink heavy then, but I would smoke. And so Isaiah was working with me, one of our employees, and I was smoking a cigarette, and I didn't realize I was blowing it like right in his face. Like I was smoking, I had my head up, and I was hitting, and I'd blow that cigarette right in his face, and he'd go
instead of being level and looking down, you were up and looking down a little, so you're blowing it level, like straight
right
into
his eyes, because he was holding the fixture, and I was making the tap on it.
Shoulders.
Oh his little shoulders and the smoke in his eyes, and I had the cigarette hanging on my lip, so I had it like hanging,
like concreted to it, that dried out.
And he kept going like he said, just kiss it again, bub, because I had it on my lip and I'd kiss it. I'd go, because when you kiss it, you're kissing a cigarette when you're puffing on it. It looks like you're kissing it.
Yeah.
And so I said, cigarette on his lip and kiss it. And so it has stuck for years now. They've recently picked it back up and we're working together.
It's cycled back around.
And he's like, cigarette on the lip and kiss it. And like we're always saying, kiss it, bub, and kiss it.
Heck yeah.
So we sing when we work, and we'll just like sing little tunes, and that's one of them we sing out is cigarette on the lip, kiss it.
You can't make it through.
No.
You have
Brooklyn
to have
was
something
the
like
other night, she's like, well, just come home. I mean, if you guys are just hanging around laughing, because every time she calls, we're cutting up, laughing, we're working.
Yeah, it's like, you don't realize, babe, if I don't do this, I'm going to blow my brains.
I will kill somebody tonight. So we're cutting up. We cut up the whole time we work. Like if you don't, you know what it is. You can't work.
Yeah,
and so,
miserable.
Yeah,
it's pure
horrible.
misery.
It's misery.
It'll take an 8-hour day and make it feel like a 82-hour day. Yeah,
you can burn through a bunch of work.
Or like good workers, fun. An 8-hour day feels like a 3-hour day. Yeah. It's like, oh man, it's already lunchtime.
It's already there. I already smoked a whole pack. So we do the cigarette on the lip, kiss it. But I was seeing a guy the other day at the flea market because they sold the stock pins.
Yeah, it's gone.
Rest in peace. I hate that. I mean, you want to talk about a national treasure being lost?
We should have went up there and got like a brick or something out of it.
I wanted that big pig on the side of that building, that mule. What I would have done.
We should have
cut that out. If they would have just left that in, I would have done something to have monument. Dude, that was beautiful.
If they'd have cut the grout lines of that
and just
use it for your foundation, like on your house or something.
Gosh, what I would do. My family was like, people were tore up about that.
I was bummed out because there's nowhere to go like that no more.
We're done. You got Flealand and Flealand, I'm just
it's
like...
just like the same, though. It's not...
F-L-E-A. Flealand. Like, it's not the same. It's a flea market.
Yeah, it's
not a stock pin.
It's not the stock pin. The stock pin was different. You didn't know... There might be some new person set up out there that you've never seen that's selling...
gold. Yeah. I'm talking just like jewels.
Something crazy. They have an anvil for sale for $20, something crazy.
I bought pigs. That's the thing. Like, my son won't ever get to experience that part, at least there. I hope I can find somewhere to take him. But we were kids, Dylan. Yeah. We were like 4. We weren't driving, and we was buying and selling guns.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was turning a dime.
That GP 100
That's
there.
It. How old were you?
16.
Yep.
And
if you'd have been 12 and had the cash...
I would still have that gun.
You still have the gun. Exactly. That was...
And you know what? I took that thing apart and it's got somebody's initials inside the handles.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if they're like looking for this thing.
Yeah.
Old JD or whoever the heck it is, you know.
We'll do this part and be like, that's mine.
My gun.
I was like, well, they
What's
can't
crazy is that you can buy a gun private sale like that, have zero proof whatsoever. And that person, if they're a douche, they can be like, I'm going to sell this to this guy and then report it as stolen.
Yeah.
You know, and then if it ever does come up, it's just going to go back to him. Like they'll be like, this is not your gun. Because I have no proof of it being my gun.
Yeah, because it's a private sale.
Yeah, and that person could report it stolen.
Uniquely enough, I've bought probably 90% of the guns I have are all private sale.
Yeah.
Like the gun right there that's hanging behind me.
I have 1, 2.
You got one right here that I know you bought. You bought that one new, right? Just that one's bought new right there.
1, 2, 3. The shotgun, I bought it at a store.
Okay.
Because I knew like exactly what I wanted. So I've got 3 guns that are in my name. And I have like 15 guns. So like 12 of my guns are not in my name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which I don't see the issue with. You know, now I get...
I can see it coming back
yeah, I can
legally and biting you on the butt cheek. Yeah.
But dude, if it came back on us, it would... You know how many people have guns that aren't in their name?
Oh, it's never going to get deciphered.
No. It would
it's
never.
Impossible.
It couldn't be.
The only way, like, you could shaft somebody's, like I said, like, if I didn't know you and I sold you that CZ.
I'm getting it back.
And then, like, a year from now, I just reported it stolen. And then if you get busted with it or something, or somebody finds it, they're going to be like, oh, this is this guy's gun. And he reported it stolen. And you can be like, well, I bought it off of him. And who are they going to believe?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, now I've met some fellas that want me to sign paper, like wanted me to sign that I bought or sold them something.
Wanted me to write down on a piece of paper my name and if the gun I traded him was mine or not.
Oh, was yours. And did you do so?
No. I don't know if he forgot or what happened. I didn't really want to do
like
it.
15-year-old kid like, no, mister, I'm not.
Sir, this dude was all like,
was he old
he's
guy?
definitely not on this planet no more.
Yeah,
This has been over 12 years ago. He's went on. And I met him. He was like, I got it. Oh, been a bear in my trash. And he's like, I don't really need it. He's like, I moved out of my house and I ain't worried about that no more. He's like, I got a bullet made for it. A fella made them for me, and they're hot. He said, they'll kick you. And I was like, well, I don't want this gun. I'm trading or selling it. I was like, I want this much for it. It's like, but I would trade even for your pistol. And it was not a fair trade.
Yeah.
Because my gun was not operating properly, which was one of the reasons I was selling it. I was like, hey, this thing jams. I was like, but I've been told it's the magazine. I don't know that for certain. So we trade. And I brought it home, and sure enough, those bear loads that somebody had made him it felt like you were shooting, dude,
probably not safe to shoot.
No, like if
too much
it
pressure.
Not being a big stainless steel, heavy duty Ruger like that,
it'd have probably blown another gun up.
Yeah,
crack the cylinder.
They physically hurt your wrist and stuff to shoot it.
Yeah,
and fire would shoot out of the barrel this far. It felt like you ever.
Yeah, like
it felt like somebody was punching my hand whenever I'd shoot that thing. I think I still have like 1 or 2 of them.
So some get behind a tree. Old man, it was like, you shoot this, and if you can hit that bear, it will be dead. You know, the funny thing is my pappy shot that bear with a flat nose, like one of those wad cutters.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Like the flat 38 specials, like that was flat with the casing. Yeah. That's what he shot that bear with.
I'm surprised that he's rat shot or something.
He blinded it. It was like outside this in a circle, like walking. Listen, my pappy was a rat shot king.
He loved it.
He was not the dump cook queen. He was rat shot king.
Yeah.
He'd shoot dogs. He'd shoot people. I mean, like, he was all over rat shot. He would shoot rat shot. He kept rat shot everywhere.
Yeah.
He always had rat shot.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid being like...
Full cylinder, just rat shot.
Oh, he had a Heritage 22, little revolver, full of rat shot. Like always on. He's like, it's always on.
I don't want to kill it.
Don't make me come... I'll blind you. Like, and he would have blinded somebody.
I believe you told me at one point that he used to take shotgun shells apart and fill them with rock salt.
Yeah.
And they shot somebody with it.
My dad shot somebody with rock salt.
Oh, is it your dad?
My dad. The guy where they lived in Rose Hill, Virginia... was getting their gas stole. People was coming through and siphoning the gas out of their cars. And he said his daddy told him, daddy worked in the mines. He's like, listen, you stay up 3 or 4 days out of this week. He said, you at least stay up till 12 o'clock at night, because he said they know, they must know Junior is coming home from work around 12 out of the mine. Mm-hmm. And so they won't come through there about that time. But he said, you stay up and you just listen. And he said, you turn all the lights off like you're asleep and stay in that kitchen and listen out the window. And he said, sure enough, he heard him out there rummaging around. Yeah. He goes out the door. Guy starts out of the building. Bam, right in his back. And he said he squalled.
I bet.
He said he was going down that road screaming. I mean, screaming, just bellowing out. And my dad thought he killed him. You know, like he's like, I think I got the wrong shell.
He probably had rock salt up against his spine.
You just imagine, because I think Dad said he wasn't but like 15 yards.
Oh, dude.
He's riddled, that poor man. They never found out. I think he said they ended up figuring out years later who it was. Mm-hmm. But
he had a real bad limp.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
Well, the thing is,
with rock salt out of a shotgun.
And like with a shotgun, those little lead pellets, they got a lot of mass to them. Yes, they're dense, so they're going to like penetrate in some. Like it'd be bad to get shot with. Yeah, that rock salt, it was probably only going maybe an inch or two.
Eighth in, maybe half inch.
Yeah, maybe I might be
skin, maybe just peltering that, like blistering that skin really black. Yeah, but like you imagine the salt might be just
under it. And, you know, everybody knows the saying, pouring salt into an open wound.
That's like pouring salt in the wound, baby.
You're just pouring salt into somebody. You're making wounds with salt.
They'd never had their gas siphoned again.
I would not siphon gas again.
So I guess what that leads to, our next subject being that.
Poor dude.
Like, the crime rate. Well, what I was going to ask you about, you know, like we were buying guns at way too young of an age to what the world would say would be a safe age to get guns.
Yeah, for sure.
And I had my own little spit with, you know, like gun safety. You know, like I think every man goes through a stage where, you know,
he almost kills someone.
He shoots the neighbor and has to put him in the pond.
Like you remember when you were young, and you and your dad had to drag somebody.
You killed the guy, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I killed him!" I was like, "I thought you were a fox." It's like, purely an accident.
Do you remember that time? It's almost like a coming of age thing that people talk about. It's like people talk about
the random guy waiting for you to kill him, and you're like, well, "I went through my rite of passage now. Yeah. I know how to be safe now."
What was it like when you killed somebody back? How old were you? I was 12 myself. Well, thankfully, Dad was home to help.
I had my little spit with it, you know. It haunted me later in life again. But I was checking out a shotgun one time in the kitchen. My brother brought it in, and it was an old pump, a Model 12. Mm-hmm. And I was checking it out. I opened it up, looked down, nothing in there. Yeah. I didn't check the tube on the bottom, but I'd already pumped it like 3 times. And I looked in it on that third time. I was like, I actioned it. I was like, man, that's smooth, Jesse. It's 16 gauge. Yeah. I pumped it again. I was like, that's slick, man. And then I dropped the receiver down, and I was just sitting with it on my knee. So open receiver. And I like looked down the barrel, clean chamber. Everything was clean there. And then I just went, whoop, stuck it up. And I was sitting there. Me and him's talking. I had it on my knee. And I throwed it up, and I was like, yeah, it's a good damn click, and boom. But it was so weird. Like, it was that I wasn't expecting the shot. Yeah. I looked out the door. I was like, gosh, what was that? And I turned and looked out the door because my mom was getting the grill ready. And I had no idea that happened. I didn't feel the kick. Nothing. Yeah. It was such a shock because I was like, I know it wasn't this.
Yeah. This cannot be.
It can't be. Yeah. And I was like, I know there's not a bullet in it. And I look out there, and then I look over at Jesse, and he's going like, dang, like he's holding his ears. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just shot in the house. Yeah. And I did. I shot a little. You
started seeing some insulation come trickling down.
You would be so surprised, maybe the end of my pinky. I guess where it was so close, it just went like a few little scattered BBs around the entrance and a little pinhole in the roof. And then I go upstairs and look.
I have someone in my life that done something quite similar. They were like, "You be messing with that gun." They were young. They went, "Look, it's not even loaded." Boom! And shot a hole through the ceiling.
Gosh. I can tell you a story that would probably shock your world, rock your world right now. True story.
I'd love to hear it.
It's my pappy's involved.
That makes it even better.
I've got a few gun stories that my pappy's involved, but this one in particularly, happened years before my birth. You know, my mom was a kid.
Yeah.
Christmas time, big snow on. They're in the living room, or they're in the dining room of my mammy and pappy's house. My mom, Ben, and Bonnie are in the dining room. And Jamie's on the couch laying there watching
Is this
Saturday.
where they live now?
Yep, current house.
Okay.
So they're in there, and Jamie's in the living room laying on the couch watching TV. And Jamie comes into the dining room and says, Daddy, one of your friends is here, and he's laying on the couch watching TV. And Pappy's like, kind of confused, gets up, goes in there, and there's a man laying on their couch covered up with a blanket. A random man. No one knows him. And my pappy gets him up. You know, of course, he just drags him off the couch, throws him up, and he's like, who are you?
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about, Ray? You know me, Ray. He starts calling my pappy Ray.
Yeah.
And my mammy's like, oh my gosh, and Pappy throws him out the door. Yeah, and he's coming back. He's beating on the door trying to get back in.
Right.
Well, my pappy told Ben, he's like, get me my shotgun. He's got an old single shot.
Yeah.
And my pappy's standing there by that door, and he opens the door up and he says, I don't know you, and my name ain't Ray. And he's like, he noticed his car was stuck in the ditch. And my pappy's like, all right, I'll get you unstuck and get out of here.
Yeah.
Pulls him out. The man drives straight back in the same spot he got stuck in. Didn't even try to turn his tires.
The man reek of alcohol.
He's drunk. Okay. My pappy's like, get him. Yeah, he's drunk. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Pulls him out backwards. He goes straight back in the ditch. Straight back into it. Never made a turn as well. Just went straight back in, got stuck again. Yeah. And he's like, I ain't pulling you out again. Whatever, goes inside. And he comes beating on the door.
Ray.
Again, Ray. My pappy opens the door. When he opens the door up, the door smacks the butt of the gun because he slings it open. Boom! Goes off in the thing. And that man, his head turned on a dime. Flew and got in the car and got it unstuck and took off up the road. Like he got his own car out. He said that gun went off and my pappy went, gee, like let a big old cuss word out and then said, my name ain't Ray. And that guy went, he's just like, boom. Ray. And that happened. Flying up the hill. It was like scooting. So that was a prime example. Like, I guess, that maybe it needed to happen, maybe the shot, and it just didn't need to happen to him. But anyway, that gun went off that time. And then one time we were getting ready for deer season at the cabin. And my Uncle Mark had been drinking.
Yeah.
And
he's liquored up, ready.
That next morning, he's got a 30-30, and everyone knows him on 94. You smack that receiver back down, and that finger ain't out of that trigger guard. Mm-hmm. You're going to smack and the hammer going to drop.
Yeah.
Well, sure enough, he's over there trying to get her lever.
I get so nervous when people are using lever guns, dude.
You got to be careful with that stuff. On those old 94s, there's no safety.
No, and the trick to me, like the trick is if you want to you got to let the hammer down.
You have to.
It's a hair trigger.
Yep.
You can't rack one in there and leave the hammer back. That's suicide. You're going to kill somebody.
You're waiting on trouble.
And whenever you go to let that hammer down, the way that works is if the trigger is all the way engaged, the hammer will go all the way to the primer.
Yes.
Because the hammer goes down, boom. So, like, as soon as that trigger releases,
off the trigger.
You let off the trigger, and it can't go off.
It can't go. It hits that halfway mark. It hits that half cock, and it's done.
People go and pull that trigger,
and then held, and then they try to
hammer all the way down.
Yeah, and that don't work.
Yeah, like if you slip even halfway, it's probably gonna shoot.
Yeah,
if that trigger's held.
Oh yeah, it will for sure.
I get so nervous with lever guns.
Oh yeah, they're dangerous.
Bolts don't bother me. Like if it's got this decent, the normal safety on it and whatnot. ARs are pretty simple, just a big old paddle safety.
And you can action the gun with the gun on safety.
Yeah.
I mean, there still can be things happen, obviously.
Like pistols that don't have a safety, lever guns, anything with a hammer. Yeah, anything with a hammer kind of freaks me out.
You got revolvers.
Like if it's you, I don't really care. But if it's somebody that I know hasn't shot much, man,
you're going to get around the backside quick. Yeah. Well, it went off. My brother and dad were upstairs still getting ready. Yeah. And the beam above the threshold of the porch door, that big old 6x6 beam caught that bullet, thankfully, because it was going, if he had been about 4 inches over, it would have went upstairs. Whether it would have hit one of them, I don't know. It would have went right through that plywood, though, and potentially killed one of them. But I remember my pappy was just like, of course, everyone's ears were going like, me. And it was just like a flashbang went off. And I can remember Pappy saying, "Is everybody okay? Is everybody okay?" And he once he cleared that area, he said, "Mark, give me that gun." And he took that gun and crammed it in his shoulder. Like he slammed Mark with that gun. Started whipping him. He's a grown man. My Pappy's probably 70.
Beating the crap out of him.
Beating Mark. 30. He said, "I told you not to come." I mean, he just all the way out the door. Yeah. But got him in his truck and out of there he went.
Yeah, made him leave.
He said, if the next man comes in here and I find out he's been drinking and he's going to handle a gun, he said he'll pack it to the grave. He said, "I'll kill him." Because I understand people with guns, so man.
I don't understand how.
Well, up north, I've spent some time in Ohio.
Yeah,
drinking and shooting up there, that's big. They're at the gun range, dude. The trash cans just rounded over with Natty Light. It must be a big thing up there. I just never did.
I just don't understand.
Would ever mix,
Yeah, I get accidents happen. So, but man, it seems like too many of them happen with guns. It's so easy it's so easy to just treat it like you've got a death stick the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is. It's like my pappy told me, I think I've told you this before, and I might have mentioned another podcast.
Yeah.
Basically imagine having to tell me that you killed your brother when you came back. And I was like, oh my gosh, it turned my stomach.
Yeah.
And so but it shocked me into realizing
I always just treat it like if I pointed at anybody, they're dead.
Yeah. Someone will die.
Dead. Yeah.
A 22 is, that's the start. Like a BB gun and pellet rifles, I just feel like now some of the new ones obviously can kill people.
Yeah.
But as soon as a 22 came in, a 22 short, I could kill someone with that easy.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you put black powder behind it or powder, it's death. You kill somebody
and you got a death stick.
But back to what we were saying about the stockyards, out of all that, I don't ever remember anybody buying a gun, leaving stockyards and killing somebody with it, or that wasn't in my mind. So I wonder where does that change? You hear about all this gun violence going on and it just, I'm not to say it doesn't happen around here, because it does. People kill people all the time.
Yeah.
People's been killing people since the beginning of time. People's been doing that that.
That's what we've been doing.
I mean, it's always been, the world's been in war since the day it started. There's been some form of conflict.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just wonder if it's as bad, if guns are as bad as what people say they're they can be used as such a dangerous weapon. I'm thankful and we're blessed that we live in an area where it's not as prevalent, because in other places it is just as bad. But thinking to that, imagine that in a city, go to Chicago and put a stockyards right in the middle of it.
Oh, dude, you'd be arming the gangsters big time.
Yeah. But down here it was nothing. It's just not a big deal. It's kind of like one of those things
like that. Nobody wants to kill anybody.
No, nobody's got that on their agenda for the day. It's no thugs and gangs and that kind of stuff. But man, I'm so glad that we did get to first place me and you ever met.
Yeah,
stockyards right there.
Yeah, and it's been almost exactly a year since we recorded that podcast.
Last year.
Yeah. That was the end of December.
Really?
That's when that was. Yeah.
Man, I'm ready for a squirrel hunt. I need to get out and do some form of, just fun hunting again.
Yeah. We need
I'm
to
ready
enjoy
for
ourselves.
I think next year I'm rocking a full-on deer camp. I may keep the cameras out because I enjoy the pictures, but I think I'm doing deer camp this year. I'm over the, how do I put it? The so much time put into the planning and all that kind of just I remember the hunts when I was a kid growing up.
Yeah.
Everyone would hunt the morning till about 10 o'clock, and then it was you stay here, we'll walk here, and meet. And what we done that deer drive, we done a push, just a little push. That was kind of what they were doing in a sense.
Dude, that's what I did. That's what I did this year, and I had the most fun
blast.
Deer hunting this year.
Just getting out there and piddling and ding-donging around and just having
Sitting
fun.
up against a tree with a cedar stick going.
Whittling, yeah.
Yeah, just goofing.
That's a good thing. That's a good hunt.
Taking snacks with me.
Yes.
And that coffee. I took coffee with
Eating
me every
and
morning.
Having fun
sitting
and
out
not
there
being
drinking coffee.
Not stressing over hearing a deer blow. If you heard one blow, at least they're there. They're somewhere.
It's home that way.
Went that way this morning. My pappy, like you said, that not caring, we'd go sit down on a rock on a river, he'd smoke a cigarette, and he'd bring a thermos of coffee.
Was he a big smoker, or was it just like a
deer
leisure
season? Like
really?
he was. I wish I could smoke like that, but I can't. That's why I can't smoke.
See,
because
that's why
like
I don't dip anymore.
I can't. I'm not a leisure smoker.
See, I can smoke. Probably
I
like you can dip.
Yeah, I could
you
dip because I would never
Yeah.
hang on. I've dipped before.
Yeah.
But it's not like something I do
See, I've
every
not
day.
dipped since March, I think. So coming up on a year that I've not dipped, which I think I did like maybe once or twice, just goofing around.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of getting into that point that I can dip, but I don't really trust myself.
Yeah, I don't trust myself on a cigarette.
Like even though I'm like 9-10 months in right now,
yeah,
I still want to dip so bad, James. So bad.
Oh, I've thought about smoking a lot recently for some reason.
I want nothing more, probably the cold weather. I want nothing more than to pinch a hog right now and be like,
get a big old knuckle snatch and just
just a 3-finger dinger, dude. I'd take a Zen. I'd take a snooze. I'd take anything.
Any of them.
Yeah, dude. I want it so bad.
So you got
that minty burn.
That nicotine addiction, or is it just like the tobacco?
I think it's the thing, and like the pain and like the energy it gives me. It's like a high.
It is high.
It really is.
It's a nicotine high.
It's like,
oh, my back.
You know how with smoking,
oh yeah,
like everything that is attached to smoking, the whole process of it,
there's a
like
thing
embedded into you, and you want that so bad. Like you want to crack the pack back, you want to pack them.
Oh yeah,
you want to pull one out.
There's a whole thing to it. I was telling them, it's a package deal. You're not just
you don't just
it's not a
nicotine
and a smoke.
Yeah.
It's a cigarette.
Yeah, like I wish so bad that they made something literally identical that was not bad for you. That way you could still enjoy that. And I wish there was something also like that for dipping. But unfortunately, there's not really. It's not the same.
Not an alternative.
It's not the same.
Not the same.
Like to me, going to the gas station, being like,
give me a pack of Marlboro.
Yeah.
When they quit making the lights in the soft pack, I was on my way out anyway.
Really?
When they cut the pack,
that's what did it for you.
Brooklyn can visit. She told me, she's like, I remember you making like the awfulest
I remember you
fuzz.
Beating me.
Like you hit me that night, James. And I'm like, I would never. And she was like, never. I have a video of you beating me.
We got footage.
I went, that wasn't me. I remember when I went to the store and I was like, salt pack, because the little Indian man, he knows what I get. He's like, no more salt pack this money, buddy.
Sorry, buddy.
I went, Peter, did you not order them?
Yeah.
Because he always kept them there for me. I was like, Peter. And he's like, I cannot get them. I cannot get them right now. And I was like, okay, well, so I hit the next one. I go down to the A and B. Soft pack. No soft packs. I'm like, what's going on? I got aggravated. I go down.
You started panicking.
I hit the Northall BP. They had a pack. I bought 4 packs there. I was like, I'll wait them out. They'll make more.
They'll be back.
Because I heard tell, they're going to quit making them. I said, yeah, they said that 3 years ago too.
I've been saying that for years.
Well,
they did.
They quit. And now no more soft packs.
Why did you enjoy the soft pack?
Totally different taste. I don't care what
anybody
like.
Almost like a can of Mountain Dew versus a bottle of Mountain Dew.
You know what's better.
Like I'm taking a can any day of the week compared to that. Something's about the bottle.
Bottles of pop. People, Brooklyn is a pop bottle girl.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
She's so much better. She'll drink like a quarter of the pop and be like, and then set it, and then of course it goes flat.
Yeah, when I sit down with the pop, it's time to drink the pop. The pop's going into me. There is no breaks.
Holding it for later.
Yeah, no,
you'll drink what's there, and then you'll be like, okay, think, throw it away.
Exactly, precisely.
Yes.
For me, we were talking about like the tradition of the nicotine addiction.
Yeah,
rolling into that gas station and getting that can. And on the way out the door, you're freaking twisting it with your nails in the groove, splitting that thing.
Yeah.
And just, I can open them with one hand just by pinching it. That
pop
sound.
Flip it open, and then
I like pouches because it didn't get in my teeth and stuff. But sometimes, like deer hunting, I would want like fine cut or I don't know, whatever. But dude, just throwing one of them babies in first thing in the morning, that burn, spitting, the fun of spitting.
That was a big thing.
The boost. Like I feel good for a while, and then it's time to eat. I eat lunch. As soon as I get done eating lunch,
cram one right back in there. That's a cigarette thing. In the morning, I know plenty of people. First thing in the morning, they were rocking a cig.
Yeah.
I never was that. Like I could go till 10 o'clock in the day maybe lunch.
Yeah.
But you better believe after I finished a meal, I had a cigarette.
Since you say that, I was not much of a morning dipper.
Okay.
I wanted to I don't know, I'd get
your
up,
body needed
brush my teeth, and drink some water or something. I'd get going first.
Yeah, before that
ever I'm hitting the door.
And when you get in the car, dude, before you're in the car, you got your dip.
That's the best thing
in existence. I'm going to fight the urge.
Dude, I'm starting to shake. I heard
about a guy, he said, what was it? He said, I had this real bad thing with donuts. It was a preacher talking about it. He's like, I had this real bad addiction with donuts. And he said, I prayed that morning, and I said, Lord, if the parking lot, if my parking spot that I usually park in is open when I pass the donut shop, I'll pull in and I'll get it. I'll know you want me to at least have one donut. Yeah. And he's like, well, by that 11th time around the block, my parking spot was up, so he just circled. He was saying, what do you know? What do you know? He said, don't drive past the donut shop. Don't do it in the first place. But yeah, that's me. I want to fight the urge when I leave here to get a cigarette. But I've been telling Brooklyn, here recently, it's been amplified. When I quit, I found out my cousin Steve had cancer. Yeah. And so I was like, well, how awful would it be to be told, well, you got cancer because you were smoking, you caused yourself to get cancer, and now you're reaping these, in a sense, reaping what you sowed. You smoke cigarettes, you got lung cancer. Hey, it's
going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I was like, man, that would suck to hear, well, you're probably going to die from this. And you're like, well, I took years from my life. So I was just like, okay, I'll quit. And I quit. And I didn't crave anything for a long time. I think in moderation.
See, I went through a spell that I didn't crave dip at all. I didn't even think about it. But just lately, something.
It's been amplified. Dude. It's the weather. It's the change of the year. You know what it's like. You're doing a lot of things that create the stage for the dip. It used to be a big thing.
Yeah. And one of the I like to play games and stuff, online games and whatnot. That was one of the big things. You pinch a big hog and play some games for an hour. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't ever do that anymore. It's the same thing with drinking, eating bad food, dipping, smoking, whatever, whatever the vice is. I used to not care at all. Yeah. I was I am perfectly fine with developing mouth cancer. It doesn't even matter to me if I get that, at all. Rolling that dice means nothing.
You were okay
I'm rolling the dice. I do not care.
Give me all of the dice.
Give me them vices, baby. And it was the kid.
Yeah.
And
I think that was a big one for me.
Honestly, I still didn't care. From 1, 2, probably 3 is when it started to change. About her 3 or 4.
Angel, I love her.
And something clicked, and I was like, I can't. If I leave early, it can't be because of me being an idiot. Yes. I can't do that to her. Yeah.
You got to set the example.
I don't even have problems with any of those things. If you want to eat a Big Mac every now and then, it's fine. Eat a Big Mac every now and then. But if you're freaking eating McDonald's 3 meals a day, every day, you only eat
there's going to be
food or something.
There will be repercussions from that. Yeah.
Essentially, to me, I can't do that in good conscience and be I'm
going
to
leave my
kid.
100.
Yeah. My poor kid is probably going to have to deal with watching me die some horrible death too early.
Yeah.
And
be hugely obese.
That's why I quit all of that stuff.
Yeah. I'll vouch. I'm right behind you. I can say the exact same thing.
And I can dip and I can eat junk food. I can do all that stuff, but I can't do it every day. My conscience, it will not let me do it. My conscience won't. It won't tolerate it.
I can totally back that. Knowing just that feeling
this,
you have.
See this pipe behind me?
Yes,
my corncob pipe and my pipe tobacco. That it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't tempt
but when
you.
I quit dipping, I was getting nicotine highs off of that.
Yes.
So I found myself slowly easing my toes into that warm water of this thing, and I was like, I'm finding something else to replace it.
The crutch.
I caught it extremely early, but a couple nights a week, I was going out back and just ripping on this pipe for an hour, getting tons of nicotine.
Well, that's what I was going to say, man. When I rocked, because I quit for 3 years, but I rocked a tobacco pipe.
Yeah,
and I got more of a nicotine high from the tobacco pipe.
Yeah,
because I didn't know it was. It's an aroma. It's aromatic thing. It's an aroma.
Yeah.
I was straight dragging it, I was being a big old dragon.
Yeah,
I was
dragging it.
I was taking it right
Scorching,
in, and like
son.
I could remember like, dang, like I would get almost sick. I would be so like woozy headed. Yeah, like I was getting super high. Yeah. And like I'd have to sit in a spot for like a few minutes and not move to fight, maybe even puking.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, but I remember, dang, like that was
great.
Like I'd float forever, like 30, 40 minutes. But then I can remember coughing.
Yeah.
And it'd be like brown mucus. Ugh. And I was like, okay, something's up with this.
This ain't good.
It was the tar because it was, I didn't have a filter. I was making my own tobacco pipes, you know. So I was dragging that tar right in
the trick with those is getting like a good tobacco. Bust my antique jar here.
He went, this ball was my grand. And I went, Lord Dylan. And it went, it just shatters.
Come on, honey.
What kind of tobacco? You got the Captain Black?
No, I did have some of that. I used it all. This is it's called Old Toby.
Old Toby. I think.
Are you a man of the Lord of the Rings? Did you ever watch any of those?
I watched a lot of the Lord of the Rings.
Do you remember
when Toby would smoke the pipe?
It's Gandalf,
Gandalf's big pipe.
Gandalf and the little
midget dude. Yeah, Bilbo Baggins.
Bilbo and Gandalf are sitting there. And Bilbo leans over and he goes, "Old Toby, the finest pipe weed this side of the something river or something."
And so that's the name.
This is like some company made Old Toby, and it's like a sugar tobacco.
Oh wow, it smells really good.
Like you said, it's a total aromatic. Like you don't even have to. Like I don't even smoke it. Like I literally just throw some in the pipe.
How much was it?
Light it. It wasn't bad. It was like, I don't know, $10 for so many ounces of it. It was reasonable.
Oh, it smells delicious.
And I've had it for a long time. I just keep it sealed up. Good.
I used to keep mine in the fridge.
But yeah, dude, just throwing a little bit in that and lighting it, and you just barely puff on it, and you just chill with it.
Yeah.
You just hang out with it.
Well, my pap smoked a tobacco pipe for years, and my pappy too.
Warm, toasty pipe tobacco. That's the trick.
And my pappy and my papa both made tobacco, pipe tobacco. You know, they would take and put it in a cheese box, and they would. Ball. I do.
Sweet, ain't it?
It's slick.
This is an OG.
That's the real seal.
Yeah.
Dang, someone took good care of it.
Yeah, I don't think this is a super old one, but this is old.
Yeah,
this is older than a jar. Jim gave me that. I had my pipe tobacco in a ragu jar.
Oh no!
I think this is lame. Like I need something cool to put.
Gotta have something better than the ragu. I had an old Duke's mayonnaise cup. And I went, Dylan, that would stink.
Do you use
bad.
Duke's?
He went, I do.
Do you?
I use a little bit of Duke's, but I don't like Duke's has a little bit of more like a soury.
Yeah.
Taste.
Wang.
Yeah, wang to it. And then if I could pick Hellman's, mayonnaise. Hellman's.
I like the Kraft. But Kraft I go back and forth. All of it's pretty good.
I'm always, right now I have Kraft mayonnaise in my fridge, but I also have Duke's in there too.
In my pocket.
Well, we must be known. I went scoot up, pull a whole jar out of my back pocket, and I was like, I keep this for reasons. For reasons we won't speak of. But I broke out on all different kinds of mayonnaise. Brooklyn is a mayonnaise fanatic, which I'm thankful for.
I love it, dude.
I put it on everything.
So
I dip French fries
into
in
mayonnaise.
Just mayonnaise.
Yeah. Like on a sandwich, if it ain't dripping out the backside of the sandwich, I am not happy. And Miracle Whip, like a turkey cheese sandwich, Miracle Whip, dude.
Mayonnaise and Miracle Whip both have their specific places that they play roles. And
the only crossover for me is sandwiches.
Yes.
That's where it crosses over. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want Miracle Whip on my burger.
No.
I want mayonnaise on my burger.
Yep, mayonnaise on the burger.
But I can have mayonnaise on my turkey sandwich.
Yes.
Or Miracle Whip.
Yep. Either vice versa. I float between the two. But, mayonnaise has no place Miracle Whip has no place like on the hardcore mayonnaise positions, for burgers. And, like, if you're going to make a dip, you'd never use, like, a Miracle Whip.
Oh,
my opinion, it's always mayonnaise.
Yeah. If you're not doing just mayonnaise, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Go ahead. So I'd like to thank a few of our sponsors today. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to play this clip.
Take a quick break and thank our sponsors here today.
Helix Sleep. If you've ever slept on a Helix mattress, you know you're getting good rest. I've been sleeping on Helix now for about 7 years, and my back has felt better than it ever has. It resists water, so when my son urinates on the bed, we're able to do a quick cleanup. When's the last time you lit the... Now, were you lighting when you was smoking the pipe? Was you lighting with a Zippo?
Yeah.
So I rocked out the matches. I always had a booklet of matches on me.
Yeah.
And I was always rocking out them.
We're going to wrap it up here in just a minute, if that's all right with you.
That's fine with me. What time is it?
I have no idea.
We've been in here for a hot minute, Dylan.
It's like, I really need to go, Dylan.
I think... Will you please unlock the door?
Will you please let me go? Yeah, we'll wrap.
Take these handcuffs off.
We'll wrap it up.
My wrists are a little sore. My wrists are a little sore. Oh goodness! I've got to go to work and do this stupid thing. I've got to do this stupid thing called work.
I have to do this thing where I pay my bills and feed my kid. I hate it,
and I hate it. I really am. I'm very impressed with the improvements here, and it looks very professional. You screwed these into this too.
Mm-hmm. That table is older than me.
Look, and I shot it, and I ruined it.
And I destroyed it.
Where'd you come up with it at?
Dude, I got VHS tapes out of that thing when I was a kid and stuck them in a VHS player. That was like the first table that I remember in existence. It was in Mom and Dad's, and they were like, we're going to get rid of it. And I was like, well, I just so happen to really need a podcast table.
Well, you got it. Dang,
the only thing I don't like is how it gongs like into the headphones.
Yeah.
That's why I got the beaver pelt on to try to alleviate
that noise. I've noticed, like, you touch the mics like hard, like you can grab them and move them, but you got to be careful.
Yeah,
like
if you hit it too hard, you'll gong it. But yeah, it all sounds good. The lights are hilarious.
Oh, it's great. So now this is pretty like important to have this kind of lighting, right, in these settings, especially because you're videoing this right now, and how like you got a good view of everything right now.
So we're both in that one, and it's running on 4K. So I can crop in like on me or you, and it'll still be pretty good quality. Really good. Like if I want to make like a short or whatever of TikTok of us talking about them bears or whatever, and then I got this extra angle over here that's getting me from the side and you from the front.
Okay.
I wish I had. I would rather have two good cameras, just like one on me and one on you. But I figured with this, it's safer because I've got both of us on both of them, just in case one of them goes down.
That's smart. The smell is amazing.
Smells good, don't it?
It does smell very good. I'm gonna pass on it. It's too much of a temptation. No, I pass on grass, brother. I give up dope about 4 years ago. I used to smoke pot too, but I quit that as well. Yeah. Thank the Lord. Lord help me with that too. What else was I going to say?
I'm not a big
pot man.
Drug fella.
I went, you should try Percocet. I'm just
You should try Xannies.
I went, have you ever heard of fentanyl?
The only thing that I really enjoy is that stuff the doctor prescribes me. Oxycodone.
And I went, and I can vouch for that.
Love them.
And I can finally work again. And my nose is always raw.
I don't have back pain anymore.
Or any pain. I watched a documentary on that stuff. That's some
pills and stuff.
Oxyana.
Was it that's what the
documentary Oxyana.
There's one called Painkillers.
Yeah,
I reckon it's really.
Oh, I watched that one on Netflix. Yeah,
I've heard about that one.
It's true though. Pill pushing, pills and cigarettes.
Oh yeah, the worst thing on pills are the worst thing on the planet, man.
By far.
Terrible.
How are you doing? How's your heart condition? Still on the placebos?
Or? I'm on those propranolol pills.
And better?
From what I can tell, sometimes if like the other day, me and Willow was in there dancing, just goofing off like an idiot, and I was picking her up and slinging her around like real, you know how dancing is. Yeah. My heart started like boom, 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 and it started skipping a little bit, but not nothing bad. I have a heart MRI at the end of December.
And we'll be praying for that.
So they're going to scan it and see if there's if it's loaded up with scar tissue.
What? Do they know why that would happen? Like, how did your heart even get? Oh, dang.
Yeah. Most viruses only attack what benefits them to attack,
but
like your lungs or whatever.
Has no benefit at all.
COVID's just like, screw you.
I'm going to go straight to this heart.
Yeah, I will eat your colon.
I'll kill myself and kill you.
Yeah.
That's a wild disease.
They think that's the last thing they said is like maybe you got a bunch of scar tissue in there from like COVID or something. If it's not that, then I just have like a wiring problem in there that has just come to light recently that they might be able to go in and burn shut.
Hopefully so. Maybe keep our fingers crossed.
It definitely changed my life big time.
Yeah, I know. You've mentioned it a lot.
It's been a year now of fooling with it, and I used to be that was bad news. Like if there was a mountain,
mountains.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't care. Like there's literally nothing I can't do. This is the way my mind used to work.
No, you're like,
and now I'm like,
honey, open these pickles.
Lindsay, come open up the mountain olives.
Why did you get koshers again? I told you not.
You know the lids are harder to get open.
I hate that for you. I really do. That sounds awful.
It's been quite a bit better though.
That's good.
Those pills work pretty good.
And your hunting trip with Willow was, I'm assuming, fantastic.
No, it's so
I won't
funny.
make you dig in all on that because I know that you could go on forever. I'm excited about that. I'm so excited for that.
It was super fun. It was mostly like a squirrel hunt. Yeah. I brought the CZ for her to shoot, and I brought my rifle, the 6.5 Grendel, just in case I see a monster.
Yes.
That's why it was there. And dude, I see this buck. We hadn't seen no squirrels to shoot, and I see this buck down in the woods, and I told her, I was like, do you want to shoot? And I was like, there's a buck down here. She's like, where? And I was like, do you want to shoot it? I was like, you have to use my gun. You can't use this 22. And I was like, you got to shoot him right here, too. She's like, well, I don't care. And I was like, my gun's really loud. And she had a boggin on, so she wanted to do it. Like, it was her decision. I laid it out in the window so she could aim it down there. And I said, try to find him in the scope. And I said, tell me when you found him. And she goes, his eyes look weird.
And you went, I'm assuming you found him.
And I was like, yeah, I found him. And he's like 80 yards down in the thicket. All you could see was like an angle of like that right there. And you could see his face, and I could tell it was a buck, not how big. And I told her, I was like, shoot him right here, right in the middle, right in his neck, below his chin.
Center of that neck.
Yeah, and it's a 6.5 Grendel. So like if she even nicks, that it's going to, so much damage, it's going to like paralyze her.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to turn your safety off. I said, just squeeze that trigger super slow. I turned the safety off, and I pulled her boggin down on her head, and I was just like looking over her shoulder.
Fingers crossed, like waiting.
Yeah, I was like, waiting to see what happens. And then, dude, it takes her like a good 3 seconds to squeeze the shot off. So really? She didn't just like, nothing.
So she like got good?
Yeah, dude. And she can shoot that 22 good. And sure enough, dude, I'm sitting there going like, looking over her shoulder, and she blasts, and I just see deer feet like rolling down the hill.
Oh, yes.
So we like run down there and find him, and he was kind of like still conscious, you know. And she was like, I want to go back to the buggy, because he was like laying on the ground flopping. And I was like, no, get behind that tree.
It's all right. Hide yourself.
Probably traumatized her. Like, get behind that tree. I walked up to it and went, I was like, look here. Shot it again. Just to make sure he was down. But gosh, it was so much fun. I didn't even plan on shooting no deer.
Yes.
You know.
Well, I knew you said you was like, we're just going to go up there and kind of look around. What, this is the deer?
Mm-hmm. That's
really?
our deer.
That was fast, I feel like, to get everything back.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's awesome, Dylan. That's so good. I'm excited for that. Reuben loves deer.
Yeah.
He's already,
he'll probably be
he's saying like
it.
buck right now.
I'm curious to see the difference in being like friendly and trying to get your kid into it rather than being like, we're going hunting. And you know, like how our parents were.
Oh, yeah. There was no,
what's that going to do to us? You know what I mean?
I was so excited to go. Like,
yeah.
Now, like, I can see maybe him being a little like, maybe not wanting to do work as much thing, because I know I didn't want, I was like, please, no. I remember trying to strategically plan trips to people's houses.
To get out of work?
To get out of work.
Oh, yeah.
And, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Your dad says you got to work tomorrow, sorry. And be like, daggone it. And I'd have to go to a cold house to do residential wiring.
Yeah, running around the rafters pulling wire.
Thankfully now, that's helped me build my life, but
yeah.
Man.
Well, heck,
anything else?
We got to do it again sooner. We can't go a whole year.
Yeah, like each year.
Plus, they're set up now. Like, we got the studio. Sounds good in here.
We need to get not the agenda made, but like current times. We could review a video or something that pops up on the internet.
Yeah, I have it set up. I got to get
where you could.
I got to get my wireless keyboard back, but the sound will go into here like this, and I can also call people with this. And it comes into its own channel, so it's rigged up.
So you could talk to someone, like review, like ask them, like, well, what'd you do? I see. So it's just like the real deal.
It's the real
Joe
deal.
Rogan.
It's road jogging right here. Jogging. We got it going.
We'll have to we need to get a guest speaker on sometime.
Yeah.
We need to get you somebody famous like
well, what's funny is like me and you we can prank call people if we wanted to. If we want,
I've done that for a while.
I think legally you have to tell them they're being recorded some way.
Okay. Oh, so I'd be like
this is Bobby Shelton and you're on a recorded line.
I know what I could tell them.
And the audio will come from both of us, but we both hear everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they'll be hearing us simultaneously.
At the same time.
Yeah. And we'll hear them in our headphones.
We should do Josh Mink sometime.
We can call him right now.
We should just call him right quick.
All right, let's make it quick. We'll wrap up.
Can you
with Minky
false the number, or he's going to realize it's you, isn't it?
Yeah, he'll know it's me.
Oh, dang it.
How do I... Is there like star 69 or something? Does that exist?
It used to. That's how I called Walmart for years.
You mean to just call him?
Just call him.
Okay. Listen. See? It's perfect, ain't it?
Oh, what am I going to tell him?
Hello.
Hey, bub.
What are you doing, bud?
Hey, not much. I got a question.
All right.
Where are you right now?
Who? Me?
Yeah.
Work.
What time do you get off?
Probably 2. I gotta go help Dustin move furniture, I think.
Furniture? What kind?
Shannon's mom sold her house, and they ain't got nobody to help them.
Oh, have you been crying?
No.
Oh, I thought you snuffled right then. So I do have a question.
What?
What's your favorite way to take a deer? Would you say, would a mag light be more effective or grunt call?
He could be neck shotting.
You're on the air. You're on a 109.3 TNT. And this is Jerry Rice. Jerry, what was my name when we was fake prank calling people? Jerry Rice? Tony Rice?
Jerry Rice. I'm going to come down there and whoop you.
This is Jerry Rice. And my wife works over there with your husband. And he had a rather rude remark. And I'm going to need you to apologize. I'm going to come over and whoop somebody's. Is this Martle Do Linden Gale? You really are on a podcast right now, Josh.
Well.
Do you have anything you want to say?
Anything you want to touch on?
No, not really.
How's the moving going? I mean, you're moving. Like, you moved houses recently.
It's fine, I guess.
Did you get your washer and dryer?
No, I've got to do that.
I go over to Dustin's the other day, and Josh was over there, and he said, I wish these clothes, he kept saying, he's like, I wish these clothes would get dry. And I was like, did he get spit up on, or like he's wearing Dustin's clothes? No, Josh had moved and hadn't had time to get his washer and dryer, and he was washing his clothes at Dustin and Megan's house, and it's like 12 o'clock at night, and he's like, I gotta go home, I gotta get these clothes dry. You put it on the wrong setting or something, and it said like 50 more minutes. He'd been there for 3 hours.
Dryer, and you have to like set the temperature like high and low or something. I don't know.
He had it set it like delicate low long, and it was like 4 hours to wash
cool
it.
Temperature.
Yeah, like cool. Oh, anyway, you cracked me up with that. But
yeah, man, I was mostly just showing James the call out option on this little recorder I got. We wanted to check in on you, make sure you're doing good, and tell you that we love you.
Yeah, I'm actually on break, and I fell asleep about 5 minutes.
You're lying.
We probably saved you from getting fired then, didn't we?
Yeah, we got you up.
5. It was 5 or 25, one of the two.
There's no in between.
There's no in between when you nap. It was about an hour and a half, something like that. Well, are you coyote hunting Friday night?
Well, considering it's Friday.
Oh my gosh, it's Friday. It is Friday. The weeks fly by.
We're going to have to schedule us up a trip to the farm.
Want to
clear
do
them coyotes out and shoot some squirrels.
Yes.
Well, Josh, we won't keep you on here no more. We're ending it off. We just wanted to call you and finish up the cast.
We'll leave you with this, Josh.
Love you.
All right, man. I think I'm gonna wrap it up.
All right. What do you got? What's your detro? You know, not the intro, but the detro.
I usually just say goodbye.
Peace.
Whatever I want to do.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed listening to us talk. And next time we may touch on some funny stories, some real funny stories. I got a Titmo one that'll crack you up.
Titmo, remember that?
Good Titmo, yeah. Skin tag.
All right, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it.